intelligence to spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With the rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6, 3, 2, 9, 7.
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Tuesday, and that means it is show night, and it means we are live. And you know what that means. That means transparency is in full effect. That means if you got something to tell me, you got something to say, you got comments about the show, well, guess what? You're in luck. We're live. 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link. You can get on the show both ways. If I read the number too fast, I'll read the phone number as we go. That's a Las Vegas area code. But if I read it too fast, like I always do, you can go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. And you can join the show that way. You can find the phone number there and the Discord link. And super easy. Super easy. You remember one thing, troubledminds.org. And you can always watch the show. You can always call the show. You can always join the Discord. You can always do all the things in one spot. Try to make it as easy as possible. Okay, so there we go. So now you know we're live. Now you know you can call me. But you may ask yourself, what the hell is this and what are we doing here? Well, this is one of the few places on the internet. Well, let's say one of the few places where we talk about all of the things we're not allowed to talk about, and not just one thing, like aliens. We do talk about aliens from time to time, but we talk about aliens, we talk about conspiracy, we talk about the paranormal, we talk about the 24-hour news cycle, we talk about major corporations, we talk about the government, of course, we talk about academia. You name it. We talk about all of it, and it's one of those situations where I think if we give ourselves enough rope, and maybe eventually, I won't finish the thought, but yeah, there we go. That's what we talk about. That's what the show's about. That's what we've always been about. And again, one more time, transparency. So, like I said, you can't ever pick up the phone and call your elected officials because you get you get an army of staffers before you even get to them. If you even get to a staffer, you'll probably get a voicemail or some kind of email, like a canned reply, this type of thing, right? No. You pick up the phone, you call right now, you get on the show. Simple as that. Transparency. That's what we've always been about. That's what we'll always be about. So there you go. You got comments, and you know what to do. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is, like many nights, we're going to do shout-outs. We'll do shout-outs first. So if anybody wants a shout-out, just type where you're listening from. We're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on Mixer, we're streaming on Periscope, via Twitter, we're streaming on D-Live, we're streaming on Twitch, we're streaming all over the damn place, basically. So if you're on any of those places, and most of those places, I can read the chat. So go ahead and chat away. Type in there where you're listening from. Just the city's fine. You type just the city or the state or country even. We got internationals. What was that? What was going on here? What just happened? It seemed like somebody just jumped in the Discord, but okay, never mind. All right, so so there we go. Now that I'm completely confused, whatever the hell just happened to this show. Okay, so if you want to shout out, type where you're listening from. We'll shout you out in a sec, and then we'll do some news. That's what we're normally going to do. We always do news, which is going to be fresh stuff, going to be new stuff from the last couple 3-4 days, because we always pay attention, right? We're always ahead of the news cycles because they start reporting it. One hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing, and we're way ahead already parsing the propaganda. So it's what we do. It's how we do it. It's what we've always done. So there you go. So we will do some news tonight. Then we're going to get to a topic. The topic at hand. Many of you probably didn't hear about this. This dropped this year, February of 2020. But between the impeachment proceedings and the novel coronavirus, we didn't really get an actual accounting of the news, did we? Not that they'd ever report this, but it was reported in what would you call it? February. Let me just give you just a quick teaser here of what's on deck tonight. There's something called Operation Rubicon, and it's a far-reaching surveillance via the private sector. Something done with the United States military and the German military, the CIA, and the German version of that, whatever it's called. And So trust me, it's a fascinating tale, and we're going to tie it into what that means today. So meaning that. So this was a Cold War thing. We may play some number stations. It depends on how you guys are feeling tonight. We got lots of clips to play, but we'll skip them. If you guys want to call, we'll just talk to you instead. As always, we'll just talk. We'll just derail the entire thing and talk to you guys. So you let me know what you want to do, and we'll do it. So we're going to talk about the Cold War and some of the spy implications that happened, specifically because I'm done talking about the coronavirus, right? We try and do everything we can to stay ahead of the news cycles, and this is one that kind of dropped and got pushed aside because nobody reported it. So here we are talking about it, just in case you guys hadn't heard. And here we go. We're going to do... Oh, shit, I talked too much. And now my shout-outs got wiped. All right, so I'm going to go to YouTube first. If I missed you on Facebook, the first, whoever got first there, I think... Oh, it was who was it? Eric from Pittsburgh got first. I know that, but it's scrolled down so far that I can't see who got first. But I remember it was Eric from Pittsburgh. What's up? Thanks for showing up. Let's see. Oh, there we go. That's what that was. That was a message on Facebook. Hey, don't send me a message on Facebook during the show. It'll go bleep bleep and it'll confuse me. Okay, here we go. We got first gets at Juan Carlos on YouTube. Thanks for showing up, my man. After it was Eric from Pittsburgh on Facebook. I did see that much. We got Cedric. What's happening? We got a close second on YouTube. We got John. Thanks for being here. We got Paul from Texas. We got who else do we got? We got Loki 187. Thanks for being here on Mixer. We got C Pete. Thanks for showing up. And Grant. Hey yo. Juan Carlos says SpaceX launches tomorrow. Well, maybe. I don't know anything about that because I wasn't looking into that. But okay. I know we got Joe. Joe got a close second there. We got Jeff. We got Timothy. We got Nikki. Thanks for showing up. Let's see. Who else do we got? Let's scroll down here. Todd, what's happening? Sounds good? Okay, good. Thanks. I thought the sound was broken. Joe freaked me out a little bit. All right, let's see. Who else do we got? We got, let's see. Who did I say? Eric. Let's see. I already said Eric. Nikki, what's up? We got Elizabeth from Oregon. We got, let's see. What else do we have? Let's see. Timothy says, I'm taking bets on an Indian versus China war real soon. As likely as any. As likely as any war. Let's see. Okay, what else? Fred, what's up? Thanks for showing up tonight. We got Todd. Me and my wife got in some bass fishing before the show. Hell yes. That sounds like a good time. Let's see. You guys and your jokes. Ted from New Mexico, thanks for being here. Chad, what's up? We got, who else do we got? If I missed you, go ahead and type it in because it scrolled down and I missed whoever was at the top, guys. So there we go. I'll shout you out as we go if I missed you. No problem. You know, we got some time here. We're in no hurry to get through the information. So as always, one more time. So if you guys want to call, you got thoughts on the last show, you got show feedback, you want to, whatever you want to do, you give me a call. We'll talk about that. So one more time, 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link, go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website, and then we'll do it. We'll do it. Yeah, you are first, Eric. You are first. The thing is, once I scroll down so far, I can't get back up. Like it kind of like curates it. So it chops it out. So yeah, you got your chat scrolled so far down that I couldn't see who was at top. So anyway, there we go. If I've missed you, that's why. Don't worry, I wasn't ignoring you. Just type it in there. Chad from New York, what's up? Thanks for being here. Let's see, and then there we go. All right, so there's the shout outs. Let's do the news. Like I said, one more time. We're live. You know what to do. And give us a call right there. Yeah, India and China are having a border dispute. That's been ongoing. That's not brand new. That's kind of been a thing. So yeah, we will keep an eye on that. And if World War III is on the horizon, we'll be talking about it probably before many other people. So that's the deal. What's up, Taylor from Lubbock, Texas? Thanks for being here tonight. Okay, let's go to let's here we go. I'm going to link these as I always do. Let's go to the news and let's talk about this. This is from BuzzFeedNews.com, and here we go. Linking it. You guys can check this out. And here we go. All right, so this is headline: a security flaw in Qatar's. Is it Qatar? I don't know how to say it. Here we go. We'll have Microsoft Mike say it because I have that technology, and then we'll know how to pronounce it after that. Here we go. So we're going to read this. This is the headline from BuzzFeed News. Action.
A security flaw in Qatar's contact tracing app exposed hundreds of thousands of people's personal data.
What do you know? Qatar, he says. Okay, a security flaw in that country's contact tracing app exposed hundreds of thousands of people's personal data. Now, remember we talked about contact tracing a couple 3 shows ago, something like that. And there was a lot of what was the concern? Probably my prevailing concern with this was privacy, right? Because you have to trust huge institutions like that, Johns Hopkins or one of these other places, right? The government or Google or Apple's going to do it. Like one of these places that already has a ton of our data. Now we're going to be like, all right, you can just have our blood type and our DNA and our right. yeah. I mean, of course they say it's only going to be your status, your coronavirus status, right? Whether you've had it or not. But of course, they have to know where to find you. So then they have to have your address and your phone number. And, it kind of goes on from there. So if you're going to tell me you're going to be like an anonymous number, like 67349B2 on a spreadsheet. Yeah, right. So even if you are, here we go. So a security flaw in the contact tracing up here in Qatar, however you want to say it, exposed hundreds of thousands of people's personal data. So here we go. So it gets hacked, right? So and not only hacked, it's just because of a stupid security flaw. I mean, right? So yeah. Anyway, yeah. There we go. All right, got a couple good comments here. Taylor, what's up, says, I mean, there's no privacy anymore. Yeah, that's true, but it doesn't mean we should give up that fight, does it? I mean, just because no matter what you do, you can just give it away and say, yeah, well, I mean, Google's got it all, so F it, and so there's some interesting, so as we get to the story tonight, regarding that, there's some interesting developments here with this Cold War espionage stuff and how the like we always say that, you can't, or the prevailing narrative and theories are that the government is not working hand in hand with like Google or Apple, right, or these huge corporations or Facebook as their like de facto surveillance state, right? So the government has their own surveillance state, right? So are they working with these big corporations? Well, hang tight, because we're going to get into that tonight, and what the hell that means, and some other pretty terrifying implications. Okay, so anyway, so this is what I'm saying. Like contact tracing. Remember, it was all about this. So for them to track down who has the COVID, right, the Rona, whatever you guys want to call it, whoever has this thing, they're able to basically reverse engineer where you've been based on this app, and then tell you and other people who are around you via Bluetooth that you can you may have been exposed to this. You should probably self-quarantine for 2 weeks, right? This type of thing. But in many cases, right, we also talked in previously, at last show I think it was, about how Bluetooth isn't actually really set up for this. And, like people facing particular ways could fool it. A wall between two people could fool Bluetooth, and, all kinds of things. Like, so not only do we have security flaws here, and some of these initial ones happening in this particular country. Well, this was found by Amnesty International, right? The bug was fixed, they say. But are there more? Are there going to be more? We're not talking about hacking yet. We're talking about whatever. Anyway, so a security flaw in the mandatory coronavirus contact tracing app could have resulted in the leak of a personal data of hundreds of thousands of people, including ID numbers, location, and health information, according to Amnesty International Security Lab. After Amnesty alerted Qatari authorities on Thursday, they fixed a flaw in the app. The incident underscores the risks of contact tracing apps. Privacy activists worry the apps could be compromised by outside attackers or used by governments to collect personal data unrelated to the pandemic. Yeah. So how does that make you feel? Does it make you want to get that contact tracing app on your phone immediately, right away, right now? Hell yeah. Get out there and start rubbing elbows with people and having your phone go bing, 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 bing. And then the eyes in the sky contact you. You get a phone call randomly from somebody you don't know. And they're like, hey, were you at the corner of 5th Street on the night of April 22nd? And did you see a man in a trench coat? Right? This type of thing. No, not this type of thing. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't like this is again, like a great comment. There is no privacy, says Taylor. Agreed. However, it doesn't mean we should just sell it out. Just give it away entirely, because I think it seems silly. If you're asking me, it seems a little bit silly here. So what do you think? Contact tracing, is this a thing? Could it be a thing? Is the technology there, or is this just another excuse to get their hands in your britches or in your wallet or in your whatever privacy? A couple more shout outs. What's up? We got, let's see. What's up? We got, who else do we got? We got Jenny Farts 20. What's up on Mixer? I see you there. What's up, Penny? Thanks for being here tonight. We got Fat Slims. You ever heard of Mel's Hole? Yes, definitely. Talked about that quite a bit a while back. Let's see. What else do we got? Who else are we missing here? We got a phone call. We'll take this in just a sec. But okay. All right. So here we go. Let's see. Looks like both governments. Okay, let's see. Just trying to, read up on this stuff. Okay, let's just go to the phone call. There we go. Talking about contact tracing tonight. So far, we're going to get to some Cold War spy stuff and how that may have continued till today, the present day. And this is a nice way to kick it off with the contact tracing app and a security flaw right off the bat. All right, here we go. Let's go to this phone call. What's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. What's your first name and where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Jason. I'm calling from Maine.
Jason from Maine. What's happening, my man? What's on your mind tonight?
Not much. We're talking about all this contact tracing and big corporations and all that. I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware, but like that TikTok app is a Chinese app. So you got to wonder how much they're tracking people right through that. The Chinese-made app, and it seems like everybody has TikTok.
Yeah, definitely. And they're not the only one.
You know, every time
China has their fingers in everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I was also listening and thinking about what about Bilderberg meetings? You know, are they having one this year? And it also makes me wonder: does Trump ever attend these Bilderberg meetings? You know, whether you like Trump or not, I'm curious about that. If he's ever been to one.
You know what?
I haven't researched it or anything, but
I have looked into it in the past, and I know they've canceled it this year. That's as far as I'm aware because of this.
Really?
Yeah, because of the crisis.
Or
right?
so they say.
Well, exactly. So they say. But in the past, what they've actually done is supposedly they've been transparent about who shows up, and there's like an entire guest list of people that are there. And I've checked a couple 3 years back or whatever, and I never saw Trump on there. To be honest, I can't imagine like a bunch of like scientists and people sitting around and like actually inviting Trump. You know what I mean?
You have a point. I'm pretty sure we hear about it.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, he's got the biggest mouth in show business, so including the presidency.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. We hear all about it. Another just one other side note. I'll let you go, but I wanted to point out that TikTok thing in case a lot of your listeners don't know. A lot of these apps, are Chinese and all that. It makes you wonder. A lot of Americans probably aren't aware of that. But another thing I saw, just an interesting tidbit I just heard. I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and his recent guest mentioned they were talking about a new eyeball that's supposed to be ready in about 5 years. That's supposed to be better than human vision. I thought that was really cool. And they looked it up. It's supposed to have night vision and all this crazy stuff. It's crazy how close we're getting to, like Joe had said, they were talking about the movie Terminator, how close we're almost there. And then they brought up this new eyeball that he was researching online. Apparently 5 years, this thing's supposed to be ready. It's supposed to be better than human vision and have night vision.
Yeah, I saw that. It was actually in my batch of news.
I'm sure if you heard about that.
Yeah, I did. I was going to pull that and talk about that tonight.
I was a little late tuning in there. Yeah, that's
no,
pretty cool. So I wasn't sure your thoughts. I missed that part. So
I didn't get to it yet. So yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, perfect. So thoughts on that? It's terrifying, is it not? I mean, we're talking about Elon Musk and Neuralink. We're talking about now replacing people's eyeballs. I mean, it's one thing if we can cure the blind type thing. That's amazing. That's miracles. But if we're talking like plugging in some sort of a neural network into your brain and then replacing your eye, perfectly good eyes for mechanical eyes. I mean, what's next, right? Arms and legs, so we can run super fast.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
where's it go from there? Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean,
absolutely.
That's transhumanism. It's a thing. We need to do another show on that. We haven't talked about that in quite a while, but it ends up becoming so. Okay, so we talk about the surveillance state a lot on this show, and so if you think in terms of transhumanism and kind of swapping out body parts like you're a car, right? You're like, oh well, I got a bad alternator. Just replace my left arm with a mechanical version. I mean, so what happens, right? Yeah. So we end up like a walking trash can with like a brain. Like, I mean, I wonder how much is possible before we're no longer human. Right?
And it's almost like it's going to kind of work its way into society where it's just going to be the most appealing thing in the world. Night vision, our military, get one of your eyeballs interchanged with one of these new eyeballs, military, and how are they going to incorporate it almost in a way where you feel like you need one. It's the hottest new thing. It makes you wonder slowly, step by step. Next thing you know, we're all these cyborgs walking around. It's crazy to think about. We're living in that day and age.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was growing up, you had to wait till Saturday morning to watch a damn cartoon. When I was growing up,
Same
these
here.
days everything's in your face. If someone told me, hey, man, in about 10 years, you're going to have a little TV that you can carry around in your pocket and you could talk to someone halfway across the world or anywhere in the world without any wires attached, I'd say, you're crazy, man. You're crazy. There's no way.
There's no way. Exactly. Like that Star Trek stuff, man. You're crazy. Even Star Trek,
man. Absolutely.
Yeah, they didn't have it. Yeah, agreed, man. I like where we're headed. I think is a scary place, and it's all surveillance state all the time, and everybody wants to sell this as some sort of like the next thing. Like this is going to be great, right? This is going to be great for humanity. Well, okay.
Absolutely. And another thing I thought about real quick was texting. Texting's a big thing. All these innovations, we think we're moving ahead as far as a society or as far as human, we're advancing, but in a way, with all the communication through texting, man, people are losing the tone in their voice. There's no tone in communication. So people are often getting misled and assuming things, and you're racist just because I don't agree with you, and there's no tone anymore. It's like almost like some of these advances are working against us.
Yeah, see, exactly. That's a fantastic point, right?
What do they say? They say half a language is through tone, your tone of voice.
Yeah,
all that's going away, it seems like,
Like, I know we've all done it, right?
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for the call. I appreciate that. Jason from Maryland, right?
All right. Maine.
Maine. Sorry. It says ME. I'm a knucklehead. Jason from Maine.
No problem.
I appreciate the call, my man. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the call. Okay, so that's the thing. Now that's a perfect example. Now listen to that. So if you're texting somebody, I know we've all done it, right? You've sent a text message and you were joking, right? Like dripping sarcasm, except it doesn't come over that way because it's text. Right, like if you listen to me and I speak some dripping sarcasm, I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna chuckle, I'm gonna make a joke. Right? There's those things, those manner of speech that you just cannot translate through ones and zeros. Okay, it's and of course we're even talking like Jason said there on the phone. you lose the tone of voice, one, because it's it doesn't, the acoustic resonance, right? Like all that's part of communication, right? Eye contact, body language, all that's getting cut out for what? It's like it's sanitized into what? Like a poop emoji, right? That's what we're doing. We're like, thumbs up, poop emoji, right? You know what I mean? Like this is what communication is coming down to. So is it good? Is it better? Convenient maybe, right? Like sometimes you want to just thumbs up and put the poop emoji, but otherwise, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's debatable how much is better. And fantastic call, fantastic points there, man. Definitely good stuff. Elizabeth drinking some Worthy IPA, Bend, Oregon. Hell yeah, I got a kilt lifter tonight. So yeah, definitely good stuff. Let's see, who else do we got? John Doe, what's up? Cloud AI and Kyle are related. Kyle, like Kyle, the meme Kyle. I don't know what you mean. Explain. Pete says have a rotary on the wall. Yeah, the old school days, right? Like the actual rotary on the wall, the telephone. Let's see. Elizabeth says that what do they want to do with our data? I'll tell you what they want to do. They want to know what you think before you think it. Right? This becomes the entire MK Ultra mindfuck is what they want. So right now, they're using it to advertise to you, okay? That's what they're using it for. And so assuming that there's no actual connection to the government with this information, these huge databases that are unprecedented in humankind, okay? But here we are with Facebook being able to decide when you're depressed and to market you particular things, right? Like this is where we're headed. So they want to know what you're thinking before you think of it, based on every little metadata point that happens in your life. And so metadata is tiny, it's ridiculous, and yeah, I don't know, it's nuts. Definitely good comments here. Let's see. What's up, Larry? Thanks for being here tonight. Who else do we got? Yeah, Eric says Joe Rogan sold out to Spotify, I believe. Yeah. Let's see. Taylor says, which Spice Girl am I on the Facebook quiz? That's a good question. That's a very good question. But exactly, all of that kind of feeds into the surveillance state and every single metadata point they have on you. So there we go. Let's see. Good stuff. What's up, Kelly? Thanks for showing up tonight. I create vibrations and frequencies that alter future realities in the third dimension. Thanks. What's happening, evening peeps? How are you? Well, let's see. What else do we got? Yeah, definitely spot on. That was a great call and completely right. Let's see. All right. Anyway, you guys get the point, right? So regarding, we talk about this all the time. Transhumanism, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? At what point are we no longer human, right? We're upgrading ourselves to a cybernetic reality, right? That's where we're headed. That's where we're going. And yeah. All right. So anyway, back to contact tracing real quick. What do you think about that? And big flaw in the app. Well, privacy gone, out the door, out the window, out the wherever. We got a call coming in. Gonna talk about this one actually, let's just take the phone call. Yeah, they're gonna sell the data, says Paul. Paul's right. They're gonna sell the data. Which of course, again, is to advertisers because they want to know what you're going to buy before you buy it, right? They want to know what you're thinking before you're thinking it. And again, right, in the old days, like this is the thing, right? Dogs, like they mainly communicate with us. Okay, we do verbally, but they mostly read our body language, right? And they also communicate back with body language. And so that's back to that point again, where you have this situation where we won't even have that. But it's okay with transhumanism because we're going to be robotic, right? Right? Unless it's like built-in robotic body language. Number one. Number two, if that's the case, and we have the dogs communicating. I had a point. I lost a point. I'll get it back in a sec. I'm a little bit agitated here for no apparent reason. Maybe because I'm thinking about this phone call. What's up, Joe? Yeah, Joe from Florida. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you doing tonight, my man?
You know what? If we could tell the future and all these things, apparently my appliances know when I have a little bit of extra money because something always freaking breaks. And my air conditioner went out Sunday night in Florida. So right now I'm sweating my ass off, but I do have a wall unit in the bedroom, which I'm going to retreat to in a little bit. But funny that you mentioned this Operation Rubicon. Don't remember when it was probably January, February, I can't find the story. I was looking it up, but I remember there was like a show on NPR or something, and there was like an old guy that was like a mathematician, and he was doing all the code breaking manually. And I don't remember if it was the Germans or the U.S. It was probably the U.S. or the CIA. They hired this guy, and they were kind of pushing him to use modern, technology, modern crypto, cryptography, whatever they call it. And it was kind of privatized, but it seemed like a front. And I don't want to spoil the show, because I'm sure you read ahead, but you bringing it up just kind of reminded me of that. And it begs the question, why else? There's a lot of different things. You bring up transhumanism. Well, I had said this a couple of weeks ago, and it just came out. There was an article this week that for the first time in 35 years, the birth rate in the United States dropped. And I think we had said they want to control the population. Well, how about this? If the birth rate does drop, whether because our children remember this time in their lives and they say, fuck no, I'm not having kids, or they believe in carbon emissions, or whatever it is, maybe the humans that are here, maybe you want them to live a little bit longer by machinery or anything else you can do. And as a result, you can control them. The other outcome of that would be you create a market. I've said this before, we've talked about it on the show. In the 90s, whether it was Bill Clinton or any clown running the government, Silicon Valley was going to do what it was going to do. After that, things kind of crashed. We had 9/11. What happened after 9/11? We had a whole new industry in Wall Street, security. We even had privatized jails. They want to privatize schools because they can only invest so much money in the same bullshit that we've had in the same defense industry. So you have to create new industries. It's the motivation of capitalism. Why would we be communists if there's no motivation? Capital has to breed momentum. Capital has to breed innovation. What's left to innovate? Right? We don't have flying cars yet. I would love a flying car. I'd love free energy. We could probably get that now. But you got to get rid of the oil barons. All of those things, and you look at it. As far as crypto, selling the information, you're right. Why do they want to know what pizza I order? How do they want to market to me? We just want to go to work. It's not like most of us are coming home, making a nuclear reactor, or strapping a bomb to our chest. Hopefully
exactly.
Not. But,
no, but that's not it.
But,
it doesn't stop there. They don't just want to know what kind of pizza you ordered. They want to know how often you eat pizza. They want to know how much money versus your income you spend on pizza. And then they want to know if you order pizza on particular days, if you order when you have like at the Super Bowl, this is just pizza. We're talking about one single product, right? We're talking about an entire unbelievable set of metadata they can collect on you based on your habits. And all that shit you share on Facebook, every time you take a picture of your mashed potatoes you made proudly and show it off to the world, well, guess what? You just gave them more. Because you don't think they're watching that? You don't think that goes into a database? I'm not accusing you of that. I'm just saying, like, in general, that's how the world works. This is how it's working. Yeah, crazy.
I'm just laughing because I'm just laughing now because they probably know it's 88 degrees in my house. Here's another example. Anybody out here that's got a new car, my cousin's got a Mercedes, they know that she hasn't gone on a trip because the fucking car sends her a text message that says your battery is getting low. You have to go drive that car. And they're tracking that car. And they're tracking patterns. To what end? Maybe they're going to use the algorithms to say, well, this guy has bad eating habits. He's going to die at this age. We're not going to sell him life insurance.
Exactly.
It goes back to what we said a few weeks ago. Now they got your DNA from a COVID test. They're not going to sell you health insurance. But, in the bigger scheme of things, does it make you think, and this just kind of hit me in the head, and maybe I'll let you go on this. And what's up, Eric? I was talking to a buddy of mine in Pennsylvania. I know Eric and Charles listening, and a buddy of mine was just talking about Kecksburg and some 9/11 stuff, but that's off topic. The more we get into these algorithms, the more I start to wonder if God or whatever's out there is actually a machine. If we were created in somebody's image, or we had to aspire to be like the person or thing that created us, or whatever it is you believe, the more we're striving for all this technology, and it's math. And let's face it, math is in the universe. Math is embedded like a code. Maybe we'll never get there to figure it out, some singularity or something. But the more we're striving for this, maybe the more we're getting back to whatever made us. I don't know.
Yeah, well, if that's the end game, if that's Armageddon, is that Revelation, the Book of Revelation? The four horsemen of the apocalypse.
I don't, I don't know, some kind of infinity circle. I mean, what happens if we die and we go to that other universe and we live in life in reverse? Like, what the hell was that movie? I didn't see it. The guy was living in reverse. But
the Benjamin Button, right? Benjamin Button.
Yeah, Benjamin. I never saw it. I think it's Benjamin Button.
I thought it was terrible.
But anyway, I didn't see it. So, but good on you for bringing up that crypto, that Rubicon thing, because we all know it's coming. I mean, we all know it's in our phone. It's in our here. Contact tracing. Put your fucking cell phone in a potato chip bag and just go do your business. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, right? I'm always the enterprising individual, and I was wondering if there are some sort of like sealed boxes that you could store your phone in, right? Like when you go to bed at night, you put it in some sort of box that's like a, not exactly, but sort of like a mini Faraday cage, maybe like a microwave or something. Exactly. Like, you just seal it up, and so it literally just cuts off all communication to that phone and allows it to not track. It can't listen to you snore. You know what I mean? All the rest of this stuff, because Lord knows, right? They're like, no, you got sleep apnea. You know what I mean? And you're like, what?
But there was that article of that guy in England. I think you brought it up like last year, my memory, but there was a guy in England that he was like working for the government, and he got busted. He was playing fucking golf. And the way he got away with it was because he lost a cell phone signal in a chip bag. I'm almost sure you can look that up on the internet. So, and here's another thing. When they were doing rendition, it was during Obama or before Obama, but there was some extraordinary rendition that we had done on somebody, and they went to Italy, and the idiots shut the cell phones off. But you literally have to take the battery out of your cell phone, and most of our cell phones nowadays, you can't take the battery out.
Yeah, that's true.
So even if that phone is off, it's banging out the signal, And then getting back to the first caller, which was great, TikTok, there was a lot of articles on TikTok.
Yeah.
Why the government hasn't stopped that, I don't know. But the Navy personnel and military personnel are not supposed to use TikTok because just from the pictures they might take, you could get triangulations of the base or where the fuck they're at, which makes sense. I mean, we all know that. You can take a picture, and I guess it's geocaching, or there could be coordinates in any freaking picture you take. But TikTok, yes, TikTok is abhorrent for that. And it was good that he brought that up. Why that still functions and why kids use it, I don't know.
I agree. Not only that, so that's the major large one right now. Remember, like a year ago, there was like the Face app, which is like a Russian thing that people were taking a picture of themselves and it would age them and show them as like an 80-year-old. Yep. Like that was a Russian spyware app. and so it's like the entire like digital database of applications and software programs and websites, you name it. Like the entire like we're living in spyware land. And it's basically you're just giving up whatever you're giving up to whoever you're giving it up, I mean, there are ways to counteract this, people. Like we don't have to do this. We don't have to use Google. We don't have to use Facebook. We don't have to use these things, okay? Just FYI, like saying we live in it and that's it, that's the end of it, is not like we are the ones who we wield the dollar. The people wield the dollars, okay? And if we say we're not going to use it, we're not going to do it, we're going to do something else, they have to change. And if they don't, they die. So, I mean, the power is in our hands. I don't believe that it's one of those situations where you shrug your shoulders and just go, oh, well, it's everywhere anyway. I don't think that's the case. Like, sure, they're gonna be battling like crazy. Sorry, go ahead. But yeah, it's something like that, right?
No,
we have the power.
It's a totally legitimate point. But those of us that are listening to the show, I think understand that and limit our use.
Yeah, definitely.
I argue with my wife. She's got the Facebook app, like the app on her phone. Now I have Facebook, but it's like open on my phone through the browser. But that app, like the Messenger app on your phone, is always collecting data. It's always filling up the phone. It's always listening. But in my opinion, and it's a bad one. I mean, I'm with you. I'm really with you, but I lose hope because people are lost in their screens. But yes, we can vote with the dollar. We cannot use this. We cannot use that. However, at the same time, what are they going to watch me for? They're going to see me get up in the morning, drive to the fucking funeral home, take a shit. If they want to know that I use a roll of toilet paper each week, that's on them, right? I'm going to come home. I'm going to sweat my ass off. I might hit the weights, you know. I might go to my friend's house. What do we want to know? What amusement does that bring anybody? What amusement does that bring anybody? I mean, really. I mean, my life is pretty simple.
Yeah, well, hold on, though. Hold on.
I don't travel.
Hold on, though. That's not the point. That's not the point.
Yeah.
That's like what Joseph Stalin said, right? He's like, well, if you don't have anything to hide, you have nothing to worry about, right? But then there's an entirely other quote that is also attributed to him, and he says, "You show me the man, and I'll show you the crime." Right?
Exactly.
So which is it? No, we know which one it is. We know which one it is. So yeah, no, it's not. It's not about that. Like I don't break the law either. Like I'm honest when I say that. I don't. Like I know the laws specifically, so I don't run afoul of it. I'm as square gets. Okay, if a law happens that I hate and I don't like, I'm calling people. I'm calling the city council if it's them. I'm sending letters. I'm doing what I can, right? But think about that. If every time they put a shitty law in, they got like 2.5 million letters show up at their office and people calling off the hook, you think that would stick? Of course not. Of course not. They would go, oh shit, we're not going to get reelected.
I wish, and I think maybe that's where, agreeably, we could part ways. I have a friend, I've said this before, I have somebody that's a funeral director. Her daddy owns a lobbying company. And they pass bills for the funeral homes. I mean, over here in Florida, one of the funeral companies that we have here, they backdated all their contracts so that they could collect from the CARES Act and show no sales. But that had to go through somebody, through a representative. That had to go through somebody.
Yeah,
the public doesn't know that.
Yep.
So I mean, you're right. You're exactly right. And for me to be on that extreme level, you're not at the extreme. For me, it's one or the other. It's either I just coalesce and say, fuck it, fuck them. On the other end of it, money and pitchforks get shit done. I say lead pitchforks because I know this is transcribed. But what else has the public got left? What else have we got left?
Well, okay, so that's the thing. We have a lot left because we still have social media. They haven't completely censored all of it yet. And so imagine, like, just think about the dumb things that happen because of Twitter, right? Like you get a movement that happens on Twitter, and it's probably backed by money, by bots, or somebody's anonymous crypto funding of ads or whatever it is, right? Like it's happening. But silly things like this, movements happen. But they're not even, like, in many times it's contrived, or it's like a really small group or whatever. I'm just saying that, like, imagine if, like, people were paying attention and every time some bullshit law went through, we raged. You know what I mean? We collectively agreed and we raged. This was bullshit. They would stop, man. They would have to. Or they'd have to start doing it in secret is what they would have to do. They'd have to try and slip it by us. Sorry, go ahead.
But that's one of the issues. Your keyword being collectively. What happened yesterday and today that divides us yet again with police? What happened? All right, and I don't want to bring it up, but everybody knows what happened with police in Minnesota.
Yep.
And here's the thing. I mean, not for nothing. I'm half Italian, half Puerto Rican, whatever you want to consider me, but the white population, and it's just a fact, is probably going down. I mean, we're going to have more Hispanics and African Americans, black people of all different colors here, and that goes back to. Yes, if you look at Hong Kong, they're starting to strike again. The island, Taiwan, whatever. They're starting to get pissed off in China again, right? If you look at what happened in Puerto Rico with that governor said some shitty stuff, everybody rose up. It might have been peacefully, but what was the difference between them rising up and us rising up? We're the melting pot, and it's being used against us.
Yeah, it is.
Every way, shape, or form where you and I don't even realize it, just because of the way it's framed in the media.
Yeah.
We don't even realize it. And that's what's disgusting. So if we're asleep, if we can't rage, and believe me, I'm with you. Actually, I'd like to be the one behind the first person to get shot because I have my own view. But
whoa. We don't want people getting shot. Come on, man. Joe, you're killing me.
You know what? But you know what? You start to get a little scared of what's going to happen with this next election.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we've reached the ultimatum between picking shit and picking shit with peanuts in it. Which are we going to pick?
I don't know about that. I mean, yes, I agree. Except I don't think we're there. I just don't think we're there, right? Like if let's say if this COVID thing continued, like the toilet paper shortages and like the meat and like you couldn't get milk and the shit continued until November and it was literally slim pickings and people were eating beans and rice in November, I think maybe. But you know, by the time they've restocked the tri-tip and the beer is cold, no. Like they say, you know what I mean? Like they say that politically you can do whatever you want as long as the trains run on time, you know? So as long as the supply chain's back in place, I don't think we're there. I don't think we're even close.
If you want the trains to run on time, you need a funeral director to do that because we're always on fucking time. So
there you go. There you go.
I'll
recommend you.
I'm going to let you go with this because I've taken up enough time and I appreciate it. A good conversation and good banter. You really want to start negotiating? You need some liquor. You need some girls, and you need to just go out there and have a good time. And just talk about shit, see it through. You know, and maybe and that's it. And that's it. And make a plan, man. Make a plan. So, but I will let you go. Have a good night, guys. I'm going to go and take a cold shower, and hopefully my bedroom's cool, and I have a new AC unit tomorrow.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother. Stay cool.
And maybe that'll be reported to the government because I don't know if I got a permit for it or not.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. There you go. Now they're on to you. I appreciate it, Joe. Have a great night, man. Thanks for calling in.
Good night.
Good stuff. Good stuff per usual. There we go. Joe from Florida, our resident funeral director again, right? Some good comments here. We're talking about transhumanism tonight. So far, we're talking about contact tracing. We're talking about, again, the surveillance state, right? So we had Jason call in and talk about TikTok and how China owns all of that, and I tacked onto that Face app. Everybody remember that for last year, a year and a half ago, where it was like the Russian spyware thing, where people were like just literally taking a picture of themselves and uploading it to the Russian servers. Yeah, that was happening too. So what happens next? You know what I mean? Again, we're in a sea of malware and a sea of spyware, and that's where we live. That's where we live, unfortunately. Okay, let's see. Lots of good comments here. I can't read it all because, well, that's how it is. But you guys know what to do. Again, transparency. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. You see how easy it is. Had a couple great calls already, and we'll continue. If you guys want to keep calling, we'll just keep taking calls, and then we'll just bump the stuff off till the next show. It's no problem. So, again, don't feel like you're going to, I don't want to call because, no, call. 702-957-1037. That's why we do it. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. And, we'll talk about this stuff and more. So we're going to get to some CIA stuff a little bit later. Project Rubicon, and it's related. It's really related to what we're talking about here. It's just a Cold War, and maybe what we're going to look at is where it gets handed off, right? Where it stops and the next thing begins, and what does that involve? So we're going to get to that in a bit, but here we go. Some really good information, comments. And also, let me talk about Joe Rogan real quick. So somebody, and you guys are talking about it in chat a little bit there too. So Joe Rogan in particular, right? So the rumor is that he's going exclusive to, well, it's definite that he's going exclusive to Spotify. He announced that, okay? It's happening at the end of the year, exclusive. But the amount of money hasn't been officially reported, but it's rumored to be in the $100 million over like 10-year range, something like that, right? So dude just got incredibly rich. Like he was rich before, but dude just got incredibly rich. Like what would you say? Like elite athlete type rich, right? Like that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of money. And somebody noted, and this is true. I think this is true, that because YouTube was so stupid and is being so stupid about the information he puts out and the things he talks about, the censorship, the blowback he's gotten, that I think again, I don't have insider information clearly, but I think that he was like, all right, and you got to know that he was very specific about, I could say whatever the F I want, right? And, like I'm sure as all the lawyers written down to like the dots in the I's and the T's and all that stuff, right? Like that's the thing. So did he leave YouTube because they're turning to like a draconian brainwashing bullshit operation? And if that's the case, is it only money, or are they connected to the CIA somehow? Is there some sort of government connection that censors things? Again, go to YouTube and just type UFO. Just type UFO, see what happens. You'll get Fox News, you'll get MSNBC, you get all the garbage places. None of the places you want to actually look for a UFO at, but that's what they feed to you. And it's the same thing with many, many, many other topics. The algorithms go, millions of lines of code deep. And so what are we doing here, right? What are we doing here? That's the question. Like what? Like if they're doing it, go support Joe Rogan. You know, like even if you don't listen to Spotify. Oh, and I did see this. This is pretty cool regarding this Spotify change. They're still going to do the video. So I'm not sure how they're going to build it in yet. But Spotify is going to have some sort of platform where we'll actually be able to see just like the same show like it always has been. Okay, but that's pretty cool. So maybe Spotify is going to turn this into their own maybe video hosting platform of some sorts. So who knows? I don't know. Like the speculation is there. Don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but apparently it's coming. So keep an eye on that. And if it is a censorship thing, then good on him. You know, like he did a ton of work for a ton of years and had a ton of really great conversations with a ton of people, like people all over the place. I think that's the thing, right? That not just it wasn't just like me, right? Like I would do like UFOs or conspiracy or this or that. You know, like no, this fool did interviews with everybody. Right, everybody all over the map, you know, like it was basically nobody was off limits, and that's a good thing. Like that, like trying that you can't do that anymore. Like he's one of the OGs, but in the old school days, you could do that because podcasts were the Wild West, right? And he gained enough of following that he's the guy, right? It's good on him. I'm not complaining about any of that. Congratulations, Joe Rogan. But the thing is that if you do all that, right, you can't do that anymore. Because if you're like some random guy like me talking to random people with no niche, forget it. Forget it. It's not happening. Niche, for those of you that aren't French. All right, here we go. Let's take this phone call. Keep on moving. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. It's Juan Carlos from California. Am I right?
Oh, you're correct, brother.
Yeah, what's happening, my man? What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, no, just wanted to comment on all that, on this surveillance state type of bullshit that's going in that if we let it happen. Just the other day, I was actually watching this. It was like a documentary about some. It was this girl living in northern communist China and how they have all that set up. You know, they got surveillance IDs. They basically their whole the government dictates every little part of their life, because she was talking about how they give you a certain credit score, where even if like say you went to the store and you bought some cigarettes, that would affect your score. This is like some crazy shit. and basically she was just seeing how they were looking at it in the positive way. Like I don't know how the fuck they think that's positive, but that's no freedom at all. And they just accept it as being as the norm. Like that's, you know, probably you grew up and that's the way they lived, and they accept it. So they basically were talking about all this. I didn't watch it all because I mean, I knew was, you know, how bad it gets, but then I started watching. I'm like, fuck that. I'm just not gonna let it happen over here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. You caught me spacing. Go ahead. I was actually responding to something in chat.
So,
go ahead.
No worries. So basically just stuff like that. And I mean, even with this what is it called, the census, where, you know, you're supposed to put all your information, your household and all this shit. I mean, I wouldn't trust them with that information. I mean, who knows? Bill Gates probably getting the memo. Oh, how are we doing on our depopulation agenda? Feel me?
Yeah, no, again, like that's the problem, right? Like metadata is a very powerful thing. And I don't think people realize exactly what we're talking about here. And it's mind reading. It really is. And you know, like, again, like there was that story a while back where there was an individual from Target, that there was a Target customer. Okay. And like it was a teenage girl that ended up pregnant. She was 17 years old, something like that, right? You guys remember? You might remember this story. We talked about when it happened. Frank was still on the show back then, maybe a year ago. But what happened was, based on her shopping patterns changed, okay? Because the Target card is spyware, right? They know exactly what the hell you're buying. And then so her shopping patterns actually changed, and they knew that she was pregnant before she knew that she was pregnant, and started sending her like maternity stuff in the mail, and her dad freaking flipped and lost it. You remember that? You remember that story? So that's what I mean. So the metadata it's unbelievable. Like there are human cues that we do and things we say and things that we, you know, like we go to particular places, or whatever, right? Whatever it is, we do what we do, but we don't realize we have these patterns. We're locked into these patterns many times. Many times we're not too, but the algorithms know exactly what those patterns are. And when they change, they know exactly why they probably changed, right? And that's what I mean. It's terrifying. So it's not just, like if you want to go real deep into it and be like, okay, Bill Gates, depopulation, Georgia Guidestones, fine. We can talk about that. But even on a more minuscule scale, think about that. Like they knew this girl was pregnant before she knew she was pregnant, right? Like that's terrifying. Like if you, I don't know what to say. Like they know, they just know, man. And how they can use it is the question. I think that's the bottom line here, and why you'd want to talk about this is because can you trust like huge conglomerate profit motive types, or maybe in bed with the government? Like I know I'm preaching the choir here, but there's a lot here. There's literally a lot to talk about and a lot to be concerned about, and unbelievably that Congress, like our unbelievably stupid, obtuse Congress doesn't they never address this stuff. They never talk about AI. They get Zuckerberg up there. I'm sure you guys saw this when Zuckerberg was getting interviewed, and they gave him softball questions. They asked him how to send an email. They wanted to know if Facebook was the same as Twitter, right? Like they asked him an unbelievable amount of stupid questions, and it's like, really? This is who's running the joint, right? We have the technocrats, billionaires, like taking this shit over, and then we have people in Congress that don't even understand how to send an email. It's unbelievably stupid. Sorry, go ahead. That's my diatribe. Sorry, that's what you get for me spacing out. Now you get a diatribe. Go ahead, Ben.
No, yeah, I feel you. I just take it in as everything that you see that's going on, it's already been tried in its trials. From even Instagram, all these facial pics that. Like you said, that I heard about that one too. When I'm not sure if it was Russian, but that app that came out, that everybody was using, I never touched it. Off the get-go, that was already on my head. I'm like, I'm not giving them an idea of how I'm looking. So when they do come out, I look at it as this technology that's happening, that's in China already put out to their people and everything. We have it. They're just having a difficult time trying to implement or trying to get us to accept this shit. But I mean, I'd rather not give it to them and not think that just because, it's not going to hurt me or it's not going to do anything. Yeah, I mean, it makes it a way difference. I mean, you're talking about if you ever something happens where people need to organize, we need to fucking get together because, we got to fucking have a revolution or something. I mean, they're going to know off the bat, shut them down. Look, they're mobilizing. Oh, he's sending a message, they'll cut us off quick. That's just fucking giving them another balling chain to our neck. I mean, added. I mean, we're already, as it is, surveilled, even though you might not think is that bad, but it is. But I mean, we can't let them get that deep into us because that's just fucking would kill us. Because I mean, we couldn't really stand a chance of trying to fucking fight for any type of thing that we know that is injustice.
Yeah, and I think that's
Scary,
the thing,
man.
right? So again, if we're not talking about it, I ask you, anybody out there in chat, you don't have to call, just type in chat. If we're not talking about this stuff, think about it. Like our reach is tiny by comparison to the mainstream media, to these huge major media conglomerates, right? They have radio, they have TV, they got all kinds of shit, right? They have an unbelievable amount of power to get any message out, right? And what are they doing? They're burying this. Like if we're not talking about this, if anybody out there, if you guys are aware of anybody out there, anybody, like, I know Tim Pool, guys like that, like there's like the independent media that actually talk about this type of stuff once in a while, but at least somebody's talking about it. But I'm asking you, is there anybody I'm missing that's actually talking about these topics that I don't know about? Because I need to know about this. I want to learn about it. I want to hear what other people think. Right now, it's just me. It's us. It's us together. We're in a group going, well, why doesn't anybody give a shit, right? I don't understand. It drives me a little bit nuts. Anyway, anything else? We got you. Sorry. I'm all over the place tonight.
That's it, brother. I mean, you're right on point, and you're always bringing up great topics and great things that we should be paying attention to. And I'll support you, and I'm there with you and with everybody that's listening. And I'm here till the end, and I'd rather die on my feet than on my knees. Feel me?
There you go.
So with that said, you have a great night, brother.
You too, my man. Juan Carlos from California. Thanks for the call. Boot Hill, going out with my boots on. There it is, right? A couple shout outs. What's up? I got Tommy Boy on YouTube. Thanks for showing up tonight. I got Michael. What's up on YouTube? I see you there. Who else? I got I'm going to say this wrong, so forgive me. On Twitch, Il No Quijada. What's up? No, this is not pre-recorded. We are live. What's up? There's your shout out. Proof we're live. All right, let's see who else. Fat Slim just said, okay, there we go. Anybody else I missed? Let's see. Don't we need a ham radio operator license? Says Eric. No. No, you don't. You don't. Because when shit breaks down, nobody's going to come check for your license. I guarantee you that. Okay. All right. So anyway, here we go. All right. Let's there we go. We got through like a news article and maybe a half, not even a half. But this is what I'm talking about. Transparency, about a good conversation, about not really having answers, but certainly asking the right questions. And if we do it, and if enough of us are engaged, I think we can change something. I think that was always the entire point here, is to kind of bring up some of the stuff that, the technocrats don't, that they don't want us to know, because there's a ton they don't. If they wanted transparency, right, like on wherever it would be, there would be like a huge privacy panel, front and center, obvious, and you'd be able to select exactly in or out of everything you wanted tracked or not. And can you do that? No. It's buried like 44 menus deep, right? You're not sure if when you did it actually took effect. Right? Anyway, there we go. There we go. Sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's not. If you guys want to keep calling, we'll keep taking calls. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. You can find both the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org, and you can get on the show that way. And just let me know you're on Discord, and we'll put it in. We'll put you on, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. All right. So let's see. We got a couple more news. We've got some pretty good stuff to talk about news-wise, but we're a little bit long, so I'll cut it brief. Here we go. Let's talk about this real fast. And we watch this one from time to time because, and as always, I'm linking the source. You guys can follow my sources. Again, part of the transparency bit. I'm not making this shit up. This is how we do it. I always link my sources, and you can always find them after the show on YouTube down in the description box. You can find all the links there if you want to read all the stuff. All right, here we go. Check this out. ScienceAlert.com reports this. Many astronomers now think Planet 9 may not exist after all. Didn't we just do last show where they're like, well, Planet 9 probably exists, and it's probably this big, or it might be a primordial black hole. Well, okay. If you want to read it, I'm not going to read it. Like this is what I'm saying, right? Like it's Science Alert is a pretty good site, except right, like if every other day you're flip flopping on Planet 9's real, Planet X, Nibiru, whatever you want to call it, right? You guys call it different names, whatever. Is Pluto a planet, right? Then it's Planet X. Anyway, et cetera, so on, right? Like labels, labels. But is it, right? So is it real? Now these guys in particular, not just these guys, but like the scientific community and the media, okay. And not just, I think probably my biggest beef, like I give science a lot of crap, right? And I probably shouldn't, because they're really, really fantastic about a lot of things they've done. But when you get like as reported by the media from a paper that's unpeer reviewed type of shit, like this is the problem. This is the problem, So anyway, here we go. Planet 9, blah blah. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, I just wanted to point out that they changed their mind again. Yesterday it was a thing. Today it's not a thing. Here's why they think it, etc. So, okay. Anyway, here we go. Check this out. This is again. No, skip this. I'm gonna find a good one. I'll link all these anyway, and you guys can check them out and see what I was thinking when I was doing this. But here we go. This is a good one. We got to do the really good ones. All right. So what have we had for 2020? Right? We had clearly the pandemic. We had the government said UFOs are real again, the Pentagon anyway, and then we had murder hornets, right? Like this is the media, right? This is the media. This is the media. Yeah. Okay. Well, murder hornets. Let's just do it. USA Today reports. Desperate rats are brazenly searching for food during the coronavirus pandemic, the CDC warns. You guys see this? And so they have desperate rats in this. That's what they say in this. But I've seen some other headlines that talking about the same thing, and they're like, cannibal rats are on the loose. You guys remember that old movie, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? Yeah, this is where we're at with the media. Attack of the Killer Cannibal Rats. Here we go. They are furry and they are furious, and they be one of the most desperate diners to yearn for restaurants to unlock from shutdown. Rats, it seems, haven't been satisfied with curbside pickup or delivery during the coronavirus pandemic. Oh, they're so funny. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is warning that rodent populations, which rely on a banquet of scraps and waste in restaurant dumpsters, are spiking in certain areas. Restaurant trash bins are no longer overflowing, and the famished creatures are scrambling for new sources of food. And again, I read that they're eating their young and each other. Like, this is not good, right? So imagine this. So this is like the rat apocalypse, right? Like for them, their food source is dried up. So imagine their supply chain broke entirely. Okay, it's not enough food to feed the population of rats. So what happens? They turn on each other, and of course, they spread further and further out, looking for the new sources of food, and they're eating each other. Right? Now, what does that tell you about people when shit really, really, really hits the fan? Yeah. Anyway, there we go. The media for you. The media for you. What else do we got here? Let's see. What else? We got some other really good stuff. What's the time like? How long have we been doing this? Time flies when you're having fun, you know what I mean? No, it's only an hour. We're good. All right, let's pick another good one here. So there we go. How about this? Has anybody noticed rats more brazen currently? Has anybody noticed, like, maybe they never see rats and now maybe they saw a rat or two? Or is that somebody living maybe in New York where there's rats everywhere and you see them all the time? And I've been to New York, walking down the street on garbage night, and I shit you not, those rats are ballsy out there. They just walk right out, like, look you in the eye and like, what's up? You gonna really walk between me and the garbage bag? You gonna do that? Yeah, no, like that's rats in New York. So I can only imagine what's going on over there right now. And I wonder too, right? They said zoonotic transmission of COVID. I wonder if the rats had something to do with that. If they can get it, who knows, right? Anyway, just the ramblings of a stupid man on the internet. Don't mind me. But okay, there we go. So has anybody seen more rats? Has anybody seen a rat? Todd says I got raccoons in my backyard. Timothy says commie rats now. Yeah. No, Timothy adds desperate rats. For crying out loud, this has got to be a communist plot. Yeah, they're probably Russian bots, these rats. I'm pretty sure. Something like that. Okay, let's see. What else do we got? Let's see. Yeah, nah. All right, how about this one real quick? We'll do this one and then we'll move on. So there we go. Rats, have they have you seen some rats? CERN rats, says Michael. Yeah, exactly. CERN rats. You launch them in a sewage pipe head on, and when they hit each other, they explode and turn into a super rat or a smaller rat or something. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. So we got Discover Magazine reports this, and then we'll move on and talk about the topic tonight, which is again some surveillance state stuff that goes back to the Cold War, and then how maybe that leads into what we're looking at today. Like we started with the surveillance state. We had some great calls regarding that, but we're going to get to that at the end as well. Some of the things, not just TikTok, not just that Face app, but some other things too, right? Some other interesting things that maybe you didn't consider that let's say the CIA might be involved in. So, and I don't know. I don't have proof here. I'm again a knucklehead on the internet. That's what I am. Here we go. This is discovermagazine.com. Wandering stars pass near our solar system surprisingly often. Our sun has had close encounters with other stars in the past, and it's due for a dangerously close one in the not-so-distant future. Okay, so here we go. So every 50,000 years or so, a nomadic star passes near our solar system. Most brush by without incident, but every once in a while, one comes so close that it gains a prominent place in Earth's night sky, as well as knocks distant comets loose from their orbits. The most famous of these stellar interlopers is called Scholz star, Scholz. This small binary star system was discovered in 2013. Its orbital path indicated that about 70,000 years ago, it passed through the Oort cloud, the extended sphere of icy bodies that surrounds the fringes of our solar system, trans-Neptunian objects, many have heard it called. So some astronomers even think that Shoal's star could have sent some of these objects tumbling into the inner solar system when it passed. So kind of makes you wonder about... so if these things, this is not the only one they say, and kind of makes you wonder about that the Chicxulub impact of 65 million years ago. Maybe it was some sort of a Oort cloud displacement by a rogue star. Who knows? Anyway, fascinating article if you guys want to check this out. There's more here, of course, and scientific papers they link to, the Astrophysical Journal letters. Pretty good stuff. Like I said, reading it's a little more fun reading the actual media accounts of this instead of the scientific papers, because I bored you guys to tears and probably couldn't pronounce half the words as well. But anyway, there we go. Let's see. What else do we got? Let's see. Who else? Let's see. I did shout out Penny Bunny. I got Ilnock. What's up on Twitch there? Michael, what's up? Colliding rat particles. There you go. We got who else? We got Fat Slims on YouTube says, imagine walking into a gang of like 50 rats, like rat drones, like especially that. But what if they hadn't eaten like all 50 of them? Yeah, right. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yeah, I again, like this is where we're at. It seems crazy times, right? We certainly live in the upside down, that's for sure. Okay, so let's do it. Let's get to the topic at hand, and what better way than to go to one of my favorites. One of my favorites. I don't know if it's your favorite, but one of my favorites. Let's just play this clip because I've been talking quite a lot. And again, okay, before we do that, if you guys want to call, again, we're going to talk about Operation Rubicon now. We're talking about, it was actually called Operation Thesaurus when it started, and it was a CIA operation with a secret intelligence operation of the German, the BND, basically. I can't say that big German word. And the CIA. So the BND is the German version of the CIA. They work together to purchase a Swiss crypto manufacturer named Crypto AG. Okay, codenamed Minerva. So we got some crazy stuff here. I'm going to link this, and then I got a fantastic interview from one of the guys that broke this, or not broke it, but one of the investigative reporters on NPR. I think he's from the Washington Times, or I think the Washington Post. Anyway, we'll know in a sec. But he. Don't hold that against him. don't hold the NPR against him, or the Washington Post or Times or whatever it is. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to play this, and then here's the one where you can start it out if you want to check it out. This is from cryptomuseum.com. It's like a little brief on exactly what this is, but it goes deeper. It's not just this. This is kind of a brief, and let's play some clips on this, and you'll see what I mean. Let's start this out. So this is an interview by NPR, and they're talking about to the reporter that it was kind of the investigative guy on this story. So again, Operation Rubicon, some sort of a CIA backdoor program and espionage that basically infiltrated the entire world through a private sector company, no less. So here we go. Here's part one, action.
There have been some startling revelations about U.S. intelligence activities by journalists in recent years, but the story last month by our guest, Greg Miller of the Washington Post, stands out as especially remarkable. He reported that a Swiss company, which sold encryption equipment and technology to governments around the world for decades, was secretly owned by the CIA and the West German intelligence service. And they were rigging the technology they sold to allow the U.S. and West Germany to spy on the countries that bought it. Miller obtained a secret CIA study of the project. His story was jointly reported with the German public broadcaster CDF, which obtained a similar account of the operation by the German intelligence service, the BND. Greg Miller is a national security reporter for the Washington Post. He was among two reporting teams at the Post that won Pulitzer Prizes in 2014 and 2018. He's the author of the book, The Apprentice, Trump, Russia, and the Subversion of American Democracy, which has just come out in paperback. Greg Miller, welcome back to Fresh Air. So let's go over some of the basics here. This was a Swiss firm, Crypto AG. What exactly was its business?
So Crypto AG was a maker of encryption devices. That is, it made equipment that was mainly for governments, for nations, to use to protect their communications. So basically, these are machines that scramble messages and code them and then decode them at the other end so that other governments can't listen to what you're saying to your diplomats or to your military or to your spies. It's designed to protect the secrecy of countries' communications.
Okay, so basically, right, there's this company, and they make these machines, right, and everybody knows, like anybody that's looked in the Cold War, all the super secret espionage, or anybody that's watched Project Blue Book, right, with the blonde Russian spy, all the rest of that, right, like the number stations and how they had to, right, there was no internet, so they had to find creative ways, and sometimes it was on the radio waves, sometimes it was through telegrams, like obvious telegrams that they knew might be intercepted and read. But if you could encode these things and have some sort of contraption, some sort of key, right, some sort of cipher key that you could actually like crack the code, then you could get information between agents or assassins or thugs or charlatans or you name whatever they are, right? Politicians, whatever they are, right? You could get the information to them and break the code, right? And so if somebody intercepted it, it would be gibberish, okay? And that's the whole point. Like there's many ways they did it. I actually have some number stations pulled up if you guys want to hear some of that. Some of that's fun. We've talked about that in the very beginning intro. There's a number station there, kind of reading some numbers. So I mean, like that stuff is fascinating to me, and it was happening for a very, very long time. Okay, and the internet basically killed all that off. So I'm sure they still probably use it, but that shit's being monitored unbelievably. People trying to crack the codes all the time. But it turns out, well, let's just keep playing this. That this was a private company, CIA involved. Here's part 2. And I'll actually link this so you guys can check out the article. Let me do that right now. The NPR thing. So you can actually read along because this entire thing is transcribed and it's fantastic. So again, he's from the Washington Post. And here we go. Pasting this in, you guys can check it out. As always, follow the links, follow the sources. Here we go. So I've got this entire thing cut up. We probably won't listen to the whole thing, but so this is Greg Miller from the Washington Post talking about the history of Crypto AG, a Swiss firm that sold encryption technology to 120 countries. But that Crypto AG, the Swiss firm, was secretly owned by the CIA. Oh, snap. All right, here we go. So there we go. I linked it. You guys can check it out if you want to follow along. This is literally a transcription of what we're listening to. So if you read super fast, you can get way ahead, or you can, if you'd like to read along or whatever. Anyway, listen to it later in its entirety. There it is. I did link it. You guys can check it out. Here we go. Part 2. They're discussing exactly how this started and all the rest of this. So let's burn through some of these, and I'll drink some beer. Cheers. Part 2.
And do we know how many countries bought the stuff?
Yeah, so Crypto AG was, for most of its history, the world's leading supplier of this kind of technology. And it sold its devices to more than 120 countries around the world.
And all that time, the buyers didn't know the true owners, right?
Right. So the Crypto AG, from its inception, was cooperating with U.S. intelligence agencies, and for most of its history was actually owned by the CIA. From 1970 until 1998, it was essentially a subsidiary of the CIA, even while dozens and dozens of countries around the world were buying these machines, this equipment, encryption equipment, trusting this company with their most precious secrets.
Right, and it was the CIA and the German intelligence agency, the BND, too, right?
That's right. So initially, the CIA purchases and acquires Crypto AG in a partnership with German intelligence. That relationship goes on for several decades, and then the Germans left, but then the CIA kept going for decades after that.
Okay, so governments buy this so that they can send encrypted messages to their agents elsewhere, whoever they might be, or their diplomats. What kind of material did the CIA and their German counterparts get from these devices?
So it essentially lays bare all of the most sensitive communications of dozens of governments around the world, including a lot of adversaries of the United States. So countries that bought this equipment included Iran, included almost all of Latin America, most countries in the Middle East, most countries in Africa, some countries in Europe. I mean, it's staggering the scale of this operation. And what the U.S. got as a result is just intelligence on the activities of these countries, on terrorist operations, on bombings, like the bombing of a disco in Berlin in the 1980s, of military operations. The United States helped England in its war over the Falklands Islands with Argentina, thanks to these devices. I mean, there are just example after example where this operation gave the United States amazing insight into what other countries' plans and intentions were.
There we go. So more of that, kind of how this unfolds. We'll play some more clips as we go. But again, I linked it. That you can listen to that. And it's 37 minutes in its entirety. Like I said, I don't think we'll get to all of it, but do check it out. I encourage you. There's a ton of unbelievable information in there. Unbelievable. Like the more I was listening to this, I was like, are you shitting me? And how come the press hasn't touched this, right? Again, like you turn on any damn TV show, right? Anywhere, like any crappy Fox News, CNN, you name it. Like they're all in the same boat. They're all trash, right? Because guess what? They're telling you a propaganda line. Because why shouldn't everybody know about this? Like, again, this came and went. This was February. It kind of just got brushed under the rug like they always do. They usually release this stuff on a Friday. They call it dumping day. And what do? Right? They hope that the weekend goes by and Monday happens and then it's Orange Man bad, right? On Monday again, or whatever it is, whatever the narrative it is, you know, or Nancy Pelosi did this or said that, whatever it is, right? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter because it's a bunch of garbage. Okay, off the soapbox. Now listen, somebody said Fat Slims on YouTube says number stations, are they still live? They are. I'm gonna play this. And you guys can check this out. This is one of the coolest sites I've ever found, right? The internet's an amazing place. And I'm not shitting you. This is one of the coolest sites I've ever found on the entire damn internet. The entire thing. I'm sharing it with you guys. This is a fantastic find. And hopefully you have a lot of fun with this. I still do. But we're going to play. I'm going to tune into some live number stations just right now. We're going to do it live right now. So I linked this. You guys can check it out. I muted it earlier because I started playing this a little bit early, and it's how you tune it in. But so excuse the noise for a sec as I dial this in. But this is an antenna that's on the top of a 20-meter high building. This is done by a university, the Wideband Web SDR, the University of Twente in the Netherlands, and so it's actually scanning for number stations. And this thing's live 24 hours a day, and you can actually find out. You can tune and kind of listen to these things and record them or whatever you want to do with them, right? You can try and decode them. You can try and tell if they're still being used but they're still broadcasting. So here we go. I'm going to just try and tune one in. You basically just drag the arrow here until you find like a signal that looks like it's solid white, right? Like kind of there. So there we go. Let's see what we hear. I dragged it over there. Let's unmute it and see what we get. Let's see if this is what this is broadcasting right now. Fascinating stuff. Here we go. Unmute. Okay, we got some noise. Keep tuning. Let's go to another one. Okay, just doing it for proof, right? This is real time. I didn't pick anything out. I just kind of randomly scanned. Now, if you look over here on the right side of this thing, there's like the band, right? There's like a wide band channel, and on the right side, if you look at on the left side, if you see something like the white lines being broadcast on this website, if you guys aren't looking, again, check this link. This is amazing. And you're able to tune into any of these number stations. You can even record them straight on this website. You can click whatever, like record. It'll record it for you and drop it in like an MP3, right? Like right on your desktop here. So there's an auto recording right there. You can actually tune narrow or wider band or whatever, right? But point was, if you look over on the right side here, it looks like there's nothing broadcasting, okay? Except from time to time, here we go. There's a line just kind of cruising through right now on the right side. It's one little line. So there's some that are broadcasting continually, and then some that are silent. They don't do anything. and every once in a while it'll broadcast something. So anyway, kind of one of the ways they did this decoding stuff back in the Cold War. And again, like I said, this is hours and hours of mind suck. So I should have actually talked about this in the beginning when we were first quarantined, because maybe we'd all be number station pros by now. But there we go, another one kind of ticking on the right side. You see it like not broadcasting, and then you see a little line come up, and it was broadcasting. So anyway, fascinating as hell. Again, probably one of the coolest websites on the internet, in my opinion. So just want to point that out and say, what's up? Check it out, guys. Check it out. Pretty good stuff. Well, a couple more shout outs. What's up? Noble Kal-El. Late, but hey, better late than never. Thanks for hosting us. Thanks for boosting the Discord server. You're the man. Appreciate it. Brandon, what's up? Brandon says, I think you asked when we stream, right? We usually start at 8. So we go Friday and we go Tuesday, 8 p.m. Pacific. So usually a few minutes late because I'm a mess. But there's a lot going on before the show. So we usually start about 8:05. But 8 o'clock's the official time. 8 o'clock, maybe grab your beer and some popcorn, and then we'll meet about 8:05. Let's see, what else do we got? Noble Kal-El says, "Bro, I'm too high alone for this." Yeah, okay. We're not going to do too much of that. But the point is, many of those number stations are still broadcasting, and so the question is, are they still being used, right? And so, like, if you go through, I've spent probably an embarrassing amount of time. I'm not going to tell you how much time I spent, because I don't know, it's a lot. But just kind of going through and listening to different channels at different times of the day. I haven't taken notes or made a spreadsheet or any of that, but there are websites that do that, right? There's forums where they talk about these things, and they I mean, it's kind of those dark forgotten corners of the internet. But so you can do that, and there's one that's like a famous number station that does like Yosemite Sam. So it'll be nothing, and then for whatever, like at a random time, it'll have Yosemite Sam come on and do like the old cartoon and be like, yeah, or whatever he does, right? Like an actual, like an audio clip from like the cartoon. Crazy shit. Anyway, okay, here we go. So we're talking about, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're talking about the uncovering the CIA's audacious operation that gave them access to state secrets and Crypto AG. This is, again, an interview from NPR. We're going to go part 3 here. Fantastic stuff. We'll play it until we kind of get the point of where it gets. Like, it goes deep. Like, this goes deep. And this is just, again, this is 40 minutes, right? This is a 37-minute listen here. But there's documents on this that have been released. And again, the news hit this year, 2020, guys, in February. And how come the news didn't pick this up, right? It hits a couple websites, it gets dusted aside because it's embarrassing, right? Because it's embarrassing, one, for the United States, for Germany, 2, for the rest of the world that was buying this bogus stuff that could easily be cracked by the people that were making it, which, by the way, was the CIA. Just FYI, it was the CIA. That's a fact. There's documents supporting it. Part 3, here we go. Let's drink some more beer. Cheers, guys, as we keep on moving here. Let me know what you think about the number stations if you start playing with that. Pretty good stuff. Part 3 action.
It's interesting that so many countries bought it and didn't know for years what its true use was, but not the Soviet Union and China. Why?
Right. I mean, that's a really important point to make here, because as successful as this operation was, it had certain limits. The United States' main adversaries, of course, throughout the Cold War were the Soviet Union and China, and they never bought these devices because it was a Western-based company. It's in Switzerland. It has, ties to other European governments, and there's no way the Soviet state was going to trust its secrets to something coming out of the West. And also, I mean, the Soviets were capable of building their own equipment. They had their own sophisticated encryption machines. And so as a result, they were never exposed. They were never penetrated as part of this program.
Let's talk about the origins of this. It wasn't like these spy agencies just decided, hey, let's open a shop and sell this stuff. It starts with an interesting character, Boris Hagelin, right? Tell us about him.
Yeah, it's a fascinating backstory for this company, and it traces back to World War II and even beforehand. Boris Hagelin is a Swedish entrepreneur and inventor who has ideas for mechanical encryption devices. I mean, these are very crude, kind of looking little boxes with gears inside them. You can still see these things in museums. And he is Russian-born. His family flees to Sweden. And he develops this technology at a really opportune moment, because it's just happening as World War II is on the horizon. The United States is about to enter the war. United States Army desperately needs encryption devices so that units can communicate with one another in the field. And they end up buying 140,000 of these things from Hagelin. He ends up coming over to the United States. They repurpose a typewriter factory in Connecticut to build these encryption devices. And they're little portable boxes that soldiers would carry around and strap them to their knees, and they would encode messages and then send them by telegraph or radio.
There we go, telegraph or radio, right? So just like we were saying, or possibly number stations for clandestine spying stuff. So here's this is arstechnica.com, and here's one of the. I got tons of links here with what some of these actual machines are, these initial machines. So this is Boris Hagelin's mechanical crypto gear. The CX52 was first introduced in 1952. Gave the U.S. intelligence fits, so they cut deals with Hagelin and eventually bought the company. All right, so. As a result, well, they had the keys, and they started making them soft so that there was a back door, right? Think about this. Now, in 1952, we're talking about building back doors into mechanical machines. All right, to crack whatever the hell was going on between whatever other country and their own agents or other countries or diplomatic stuff or whatever the hell it was, right? We were able to, as long as we were able to get our hands on the message somehow, we were able to crack the code, right? Us and the West Germany. Remember, there used to be East Germany and West Germany. You guys remember that? Everybody old enough to remember that? There was the Berlin Wall. Yeah, we're talking about West Germany here. Okay, so now here's one of the machines, and check it out. There's a ton of this. I'll do some more links, and you guys can check out some of these other amazing machines that they've got. But this wasn't the only one. So they continued to crank these things out, have new versions, and the companies or countries of the world, not companies, countries of the world continue to buy these things from a private company owned by the CIA. You can't make this shit up. This is worse than a bad spy movie, right? You're like, no country on earth could be that stupid, could they? Well, let's see. As it continues, interview with NPR action.
2 other units. And that was what gave birth not only to this company, but to the relationship between Boris Hagelin, the founder of crypto, and the United States. And it's that relationship that sort of serves as the basis for this incredible espionage operation that comes about years later.
God, this is fascinating, for people who've grown up accustomed to everything being done by software on small or handheld devices. This was mechanical. You would generate encrypted messages with all these gears and levers.
Yeah, it looks like a little mini cash register. It has a lever on the right-hand side that you actually had to hand crank. You have to twist the dials inside yourselves, and it was very tedious. To encode a simple message, you had to do it letter by letter. You'd turn a dial on the front of the machine to letters A, B, C, or D, and it spits out a different letter on a piece of tape that comes out the back. And then you got to carry that tape over to your communications officer, and he's got to transmit this in Morse code.
All right, so the United States has this relationship with Hagelin and buys these encryption devices during the war. Afterwards, they'd like to continue the relationship, and you tell us that it was fortuitous that the head of the United States Army's Signals Intelligence Service, a guy, William Friedman, was a good friend of Hagelin. What kind of deal did they manage to strike?
So this is one of the crucial relationships, not only in this operation, but in all of Cold War espionage. William Friedman is a cryptologist in the United States. He's regarded by many as kind of the pioneer of cryptology in the United States. He has a lot in common with Boris Hagelin. They're both born in Russia. They're both fascinated with this kind of mathematics and technology. And they forge a relationship. They meet each other in the 1940s. And it's Friedman who then becomes sort of the manager of this relationship with Hagelin over time. So after the war, Hagelin goes back to Sweden. He's flush with cash from his huge contract from the U.S. Army. He's got, he was paid $8 million for all these devices he made. And he's planning to go into business and start selling this stuff around the world. And that scares the United States. It scares Friedman. we're not going to be able to spy on other countries if Hagelin succeeds in his business plans. We need to get back in with him and establish a relationship where we have some control over what he's selling and who he's selling to.
Okay, now think of the parallel, guys. Think of the parallel. This is ridiculous. So we have somebody who says, I have the ability to build an encryption machine that is not easily defeated. Okay. And the United States military and the CIA already knows this. And as in that other article, they've been given fits by his work. They can't crack it. Okay. At least when they do, it's more of a lucky break than it is like something that's consistent. And so imagine what the world may have looked like if they hadn't struck a deal with this guy. And instead, all of those machines, this guy went private. He didn't partner with the CIA. He sold all this information to the world over, to 100 plus countries. and nobody knew what the hell anybody else was saying, right? Like it kind of makes you wonder if it's like is it a good thing or is that a bad thing, right? I don't know. I think it would depend on the nature of the communications, wouldn't it? But think about that. That's obscene. And so 100 plus countries, and now the CIA has the ability to crack all of these communications, all right, based on this one deal with this one dude. Think about how powerful that guy is, right? Right? In the grand scheme of things. Do you think he's as powerful as somebody like, say, I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg? And if that's the case, do you think the CIA might be interested in a deal with Zuck? Or, I'm speculating here. I don't have any inside information, of course. If I did, well, I'd probably be in jail. But I don't. So I'm just speculating. Or let's say Sergey of Google, Larry Page, Tim Cook of Apple. You tell me, right? So odd that, what the hell, my phone... My phone just heard me speaking and said, Larry Page, Tim Cook of Apple. There we go. Sorry. There we go. They're listening to us. Look at that. I'll get my phone out of here. All right. Threw my phone across the room. All right. So anyway, yeah. Okay. So, but think about it. Just think about it in terms of the modern day. So we're talking about a back door in a mechanical machine that they built in. Okay. Now, think about it now. We talk about end-to-end encryption, right? As like the end all be all. We talk about Bitcoin, or we talk about blockchain, right? Unhackable, right? Build is unhackable, right? You ask me, I think it's Russian mafia. It's a huge Ponzi scheme. And the second there's enough money in that bitch, they're going to take it all, right? Watch. Just guessing. I don't know. Again, I don't have inside information. Just watch. Watch what happens. Because every time they build something is unhackable, you know something's up, right? So it makes you wonder. I'll get to another article later where maybe the CIA has something to do with Bitcoin. So, yeah. Anyway, there we go. Here we go. Part 5. We're going to keep playing this. Kelly, what's up? Says, when did this story come to light? This was February 2020 this year is when the documents actually came out, when they broke the story with the Washington Times. And Washington Times. And again, it didn't get any, like I saw it. I think we may have talked about it briefly for one of our news stories for maybe a couple minutes, but I didn't actually realize how large this story actually was. This story is huge. And again, right, this is part of the problem. Part of the reason we do it this way. I know I ramble a lot. Sometimes we get sidetracked. I lose my train of thought, whatever, right? Sometimes we get calls that kind of take us off track. Fine. That's all fine, because you know what? It doesn't matter, because you get 5-minute segments and then a commercial on these damn news programs or the damn radio, right? This is what you get. And so you can't, this story is freaking huge. And so you can't get it that way. So we do it this way exactly for that reason, because there are stories that need to be talked about, that need to be told and need to get out. People need to hear these things. And this is our way of doing it. So yeah, February 2020 is when this came out. It was this year, guys. We're talking just 3 months ago, and yeah, what the hell, right? So here we go. Next part of this, and we'll keep on trucking with the story here. But okay, so we got this individual. The CIA freaks out because they realize if this guy goes private, sells this stuff to the world, they don't know what to do. They got to make some sort of partnership. Here we go, action.
So what's the arrangement they come to?
the arrangement it evolves. So initially, it's basically Hagelin agrees almost voluntarily to withhold his best equipment from certain countries that are seen as adversaries by the West. And I think it's really important to think about this time as just sort of after World War II, the really early years of the Cold War, when the United States is seen as a savior by much of Western Europe. And so there is a huge interest in cooperating with the United States, great respect for the country. And so Hagelin and crypto cooperate initially, but that changes by the mid-1960s when it becomes a much deeper relationship, and Hagelin is actually getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars by the CIA to withhold his best, most secure encryption devices from countries that are not on a list that are presented to him each year by the United States, by the CIA.
So how does this morph into a CIA-owned company?
So there were always, ideas all along the way. Wow, this is a great arrangement we have with Hagelin. Could we tweak it further? Could we go one step further and get him to actually rig his devices in ways that we design? And Friedman was reluctant to do that. He thought that would be a step too far for Hagelin. But in the 60s, technology changed, and it kind of forced Hagelin's hand. Technology moves from the gears and the mechanical devices that he knew how to build into electronics that he knew a lot less about. And so the NSA, the National Security Agency, which is a huge U.S. intelligence agency, sees an opportunity here. We can help Hagelin solve his problem if he helps us solve our problem. We'll give him the technology, the know-how to get into electronics and algorithms if he will let us design these machines and rig them so that we can read them going forward. And that is the initial basis for this operation.
All right, so there's a partnership with the NSA, the CIA, and this individual Hagelin, I believe they said is his name, and they want a backdoor. They want to be able to rig the machines so that the people using them think they're secure, but the people that are actually selling them are the CIA themselves. And Kelly had a great point here, and this is a funny comment. I have to read it. He says, "Wow, so the world knows they got taken to school on espionage as of February 2020." And yes, exactly right. So, and I'm sure there's imagine this, right? So let's say you're a foreign state actor, right? And obviously not the United States, not working with the CIA or with West Germany at the time. And you have supposedly secure communications going to your agents wherever they may be, your politicians, whatever they are, right? Your diplomats, whatever's happening, and then somehow, uncannily, somebody always knows what's going on, right? With your secret shit. Like, how long would it take before they always knew, right? How the Americans always knew what was happening before you finally got suspicious of that machine. You know what I mean? I would think that if you were like a foreign state, you have the resources to maybe take that machine apart and look at it. You know, like maybe, is this thing solid? Like what's the basis? What's the scientific basis of this thing? Is it actually built in like true cryptography? Like, you know, to cryptological standards of professionals? I don't know. Like, it just seems, it almost seems too silly to be real, if you ask me. You know, you would think eventually somewhere along the line somebody would be like, "Hey, what is this shit? This shit's broken, right? This shit's broken." Anyway, yeah. So there we go. So there's as this continues, we're gonna play a few more of this and kind of break down exactly how this story develops. So they make a deal with this guy. They realize the NSA, the CIA. They say, okay, we have to be able to crack a deal with this guy. Otherwise, we're screwed. We won't know shit about shit. So here we go. Here's the next part. And again, this is from NPR. I've got a bunch more links to share, guys, so don't worry. I've got more stuff coming. And we've got more to talk about, as always. But here we go. Here's the next part. And again, think about it. They're creating backdoors in mechanical machines. I can't stress that enough. Now think about the freaking internet, for crying out loud, right? Think about the internet. And now this is the thing. We're talking about shit from the 50s here, okay, that finally came out in documents now. So what's happening right now, right? Snowden talked a little bit about it, right? The surveillance state, and Brennan lied and said, no, that's not happening. And then Snowden leaked the documents and was like, the hell it isn't. Look, I got proof. And now he's in Russia somewhere, right? Like he can't. Now, I'm not no don't get me in the middle of this. I'm not trying to say Snowden good or Snowden bad. I know there's arguments for both, but I'm just saying that like there's documents that corroborate shit like this is happening now. So who's involved? Is it Google? Is it Apple? Right? Is it Facebook? Who's involved? Is it Twitter? Like they're the technocrats. Who's involved? It's got to be one of these big boys or several. Okay, but again, think about that. You equate that guy that had all the power to make that machine back then, and the CIA had to make a deal with him, okay? Because they knew they would be screwed if they didn't. Think about it this way. What if Facebook or what if, say, Google decided to make a deal with China, right? Similar to be like, all right, well, we have all the information on all the people, so we're just going to sell it to you, wholesale. Hand over fist. You just keep sending us the billions. We'll keep sending you the data. Bam, done, right? Of course. Do you think the CIA would ever allow this? You think the U.S. government would ever allow this? Of course not. So yeah. So just put two and two together, right? I think that's where we're at. Like, okay, well, so we won't have these documents until the year 2090 of what's happening today. But I think if you put two and two together, you can kind of really see what the hell's happening here. So a couple good comments I'm going to read real fast, and then we'll play the rest of this. Let's see. Michael, what's up, says the CIA hears me touch myself at night. They probably do. They probably know. They know, dude. Stop it. You're in a database now. Every time you do that, it's in a database. And he adds, I know a person who was supposedly hacked by another party I'm vaguely familiar with who had CIA ties. It was a bizarre hack. They had access to everything on her computer. There you go. Terrifying. If the CIA is involved, yeah. Elizabeth says, not people, robots. Yeah, exactly. And Timothy says, it's 1984. Be careful what you believe. Amen. All that's true. All that's true. All that's definitely true stuff. Give me a call, Michael, if you want to talk about that hack there, or maybe not, because that's probably a bad idea. This is not a secure line, let's say. All right, here we go. Next part, action.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, right, to the rest of the outside world, this looks like, some new owners have come in and bought this thing, but it's still Crypto AG. It's still a Swiss company. It's, it's completely private. But behind the scenes, it's actually owned by the CIA and the BND, which is the German intelligence service. And they try to create the appearance that this is still functioning as a private entity. So yes, there's a board of directors, there's a chief executive, there's a research and development department, there are dozens, if not hundreds of employees at this company. But in secret, there are always a small number, usually just one or two, the chief executive at the company and one or two members of the board who know the truth. And they are responsible for executing the orders of the CIA and the BND.
Wow. It's also remarkable, you learned in this material that you got access to, that the German and American agencies brought in some corporate partners to help with the technology. Siemens, in the case of the Germans, Motorola, in the case of the Americans. Did these private companies know they were assisting in spying?
Absolutely. I mean, there are detailed accounts in these documents of conversations with these massive companies. Hey, we are running this secret operation out of Switzerland. We're having trouble with this certain device. It's not working very well. We're trying to make a transition into a new technology. Can you help us out with this? There may not be read into all the details of the operation, but they are. It's clear to those companies that they are working hand in glove with the CIA, NSA, and the BND.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah. How crazy is that? So I think I don't think it's a stretch to say it's happening now. And not only now, like probably in the places you expect at least, right? Like some of the more obvious things like we talked about, like that we had the caller in the beginning that had a fantastic point about TikTok. And then I added the Face app, right? China, Russia. And so in today's world market, you could say, digital market, you could just release your own spyware app, like you make it worthwhile, entertaining, funny. People will buy it or not even buy it, download it for free. Then they'll upload their shit directly to your servers, like it's as simple as that. You make something entertaining, like put rabbit ears on yourself or some shit, like googly eyes and rabbit ears. Bam, your app is in. You have an unbelievable amount of data. You have facial recognition. You have their device IDs and shit. You know how that is, right? When you get that huge terms of service that's like 88 pages long that nobody ever reads. What the hell do you think is in there, guys? And not only that, have you tried to keep up with like a major corporation's terms of service? You can't. You know why? Because they change that shit every other day. right? And the only reason they make you re-accept is when they really do a gigantic overhaul. So whatever you click, think about it. If you signed up for Facebook 10 years ago, all right, do you think that the okay you accepted then is the same as the shit they do now? Yeah, of course not. It changes. The shit changes. They're pulling the wool over our eyes, guys. Anyway, this is nothing we don't know. I'm not telling anybody anything new, okay? But the point is, you have to keep this top of mind. And when our legislators do stupid shit, we have to rage. We do. And I saw that Michael said, "Where were you guys when we did Area 51? Where were you with the Area 51 rage?" We were raging, just in a different way. We were talking about it for sure. We were all over that. But yeah, okay. So anyway, you get it, right? You get what we're talking about. And let's continue with this a little bit more. We're not going to play the entire thing because it's a lot. It's pretty in depth. We'll play a couple more and then we'll skip to the end. But again, if you guys have comments on this, if you've heard of this, if you've heard of this before I talked about it, type yes or no in chat. I want to know. If you guys heard of this entire scandal, this CIA Cold War hacking thing with the company known as, what is this? I keep forgetting the name. The Crypto AG is the name of the company. Codename Minerva. Operation Rubicon and Operation Thesaurus is what it started out as. If you heard of this before I talked about it tonight, type yes or type no. I'd love to know how many people how the media got out, right? So it's not, this is not a judgment of, oh, shame. This is, I'm curious at how the media saturation happened and whether or not it got to you guys, whether you, Anyway, that's kind of what I want to know. Type yes or no if you heard of this, and then there we go. Some cheap engagement again on the dealios, and and if you want to call, you know what to do. This is live, so this is a Tuesday night, and I've talked to most of you in chat there, so you guys know this is live, so I don't have to really prove it. But if you really want to prove it, it's a Tuesday. It's May 26th. Yeah, we're still in the pandemic. They tell us the curve has been long ago flattened, but here we are still flattening the flat curve. So cheers to that. If you want to call me, talk about whatever. We're talking about encryption and this scandal, this Cold War scandal that came out in February of 2020 that nobody talked about. You want to talk about it, you know what to do. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord. You can get on the show that way as well. You can find both the phone number and the Discord link by going to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. And there we go. It's as simple as that. Just give us a call. We had three great callers tonight already. So we have time for you as well. So if you have takes on this, if this is, again, if this doesn't, none of this surprises you, fine. I want to hear from you. If some of this surprises you, fine. I want to hear from you. If you've heard of this or not heard of this, fine. I want to hear from you. Let's talk about this, right? Because I can talk, but I want to hear what you think. Again, the entire reason we do this live is because I want to hear what you think. So there we go. So let's play one more clip here, and if you guys hop on the phone, get in here, and we'll talk about Spygate. Yeah, about the world getting owned by the CIA through the entire Cold War. Here we go. Part 8, action.
Let's talk about some of the more interesting moments in the operation of this company, which was around for decades. For example, the Camp David talks, trying to establish peace between the Israelis and Palestinians.
Sure. So the documents lay out numerous sort of global events where this operation gave U.S. officials, including presidents, deep insight into what was happening, an upper hand almost, including the Camp David negotiations under President Carter in the late 1970s between Egypt and Israel. All of the Egyptian communications from Camp David back to Cairo were being monitored because the Egyptians were a huge customer of Crypto AG, and the NSA was able to pick off all of those communications between President Sadat and his advisors back in Cairo, and decode them, read them. They knew everything that the Egyptians were doing. There were numerous other cases here.
Can I just stop you there for a sec? So the Americans were hearing what the inside Egyptian communications were about their strategy in the talks. Was that communicated to President Carter and his advisors so they knew more about what one side was doing?
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's one of the goals. That's one of the primary objectives of spying or espionage. So, yes, so the NSA is monitoring these communications. They're intercepting all of Sadat's communications to his advisors back in Cairo. They're telling Carter and his whole negotiation team. So they come into all their meetings with the Israelis and the Egyptians with a huge leg up. They already know what the Egyptian positions are, what their vulnerabilities are, what they're willing to concede, and what their red lines are.
Were the Israelis customers of crypto? Did the Americans know what their bottom lines were?
The Israelis were in an interesting status here because the Israelis were not customers of crypto in the main. They may have used crypto devices here and there, but they were beneficiaries of this operation. So there's a handful of countries around the world that benefited from this, that the United States shared its secrets with in certain cases, and Israel was one of those. It's not clear from the documents how much this happened in the Camp David negotiations, but it's very clear from these files that Israel was given access to the intelligence that the United States got because of the crypto penetration.
Right. So, of course, Israel, right? I'm not sure the question of Israel there in particular, because they have the five eyes, right? There's like the five Western eyes is what they call them in the intelligence community, I believe, the five eyes. So, of course, right, you have West Germany during the Cold War. Remember, the wall's still up. We're time traveling back a little bit. The Iron Curtain, all that. And then we had the working with the CIA, okay? And they had these mechanical machines they could crack that were supposedly uncrackable that they were selling to the world, 100+ countries. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Again, like I said, it seems like a bad spy novel, right? It seems like nobody could actually, nobody should be able to actually get away with this. And so somehow, through decades, right? This is 1952 when this started, and I believe they finally disbanded this entire project. I've got all the links here. Trust me. 2018, 1952 to 2018, guys. That's how long this thing went on. So before again, now I know we've talked about OSAP and ATIP and To the Stars Academy and some of this other stuff, right? So think about it this way, like, is that an extension of Project Blue Book, right? We talk about how the government does things and how they don't really stop doing something. They just kind of end a particular program and then start a new program, kind of doing the new stuff that was the same, right, result or end game of the old stuff, right? With the new technology, new names. It's kind of how you bury the paper trail a little bit, right? So for instance, we know probably a ton about Project Blue Book, right? But how far did that go exactly? And then what did that transition to? And then after that, is that still part of ATIP or OSAP or whatever? You know what I mean? So if they bury the project, it does a couple things. So first, it throws off like the FOIA paper trails in many cases, right? I'm not an expert here, but I think this is how it works. So by doing that, they can say that, yep, if you want FOIAs on this, that was closed on this date, we didn't pursue it after that, right? But that's not the case. They just did it some other way with some new technology or some other something and named it something else, right? So that's the way this works. In my opinion, again, I don't know. I don't have insider information. It just seems plausible that that's how they keep this information from getting out, right? Is that it's an entire game. The whole game is like, oh yeah, like Freedom of Information Act, right? Just like the Patriot Act. Like they say it, but they don't really mean that shit. Yeah. Anyway, you guys know what I'm saying. It's not that doesn't surprise many of us, but that's the point, right? It's the whole game of they say, well, here's the FOIA Act. It's in the name of transparency, but then they play games and try and not get the information out whatsoever. So anyway, like that's how they do it. That's how they do this. The entire thing's a game. So Okay, so let's see what else. Let's play another clip here, and then we'll keep on moving. Yeah, again, if you guys have comments on this, you want to talk about this stuff, give me a call, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. You can join the Discord and find the phone number by going to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. And we're talking about this project Rubicon, Operation Rubicon, and how the CIA owned the world for 60 or 70 years. My math is terrible, but yeah, what the hell, right? And again, right, so they closed it in 2018, but does that mean it's done? No, of course not. Of course not. That's silly. They're still doing it just some other way, right? They're doing it with backdoor end-to-end encryption is what they're doing. One man's opinion. I don't have information on this. I think it's just common sense, right? You think about the next step, that's the next step. So HTTPS, right? The S is secure. It's secure now. Trust me, it's secure. Yeah, it's secure. All right, here we go. A couple more clips, and then we'll, again, if you guys want to call 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Here we go. Next clip.
And then there was the 1979 Iranian hostage crisis.
Right. So Iran was a huge customer of Crypto AG for years and years, bought a lot of these machines and used them, and it left them utterly vulnerable to penetration by U.S. spy agencies as a result. So when radicals stormed the American embassy in Tehran and took 52 hostages, there were negotiations between the Carter administration and the regime for more than a year, and the United States was able to monitor all of the deliberations and all the conversations of the Iranians because of their government's use of these crypto machines. I mean, that speaks to a limit here to espionage, right? Knowing what the Iranians are doing and how they're reacting to the latest proposals and negotiations did not help President Carter get those hostages freed before his term in office ended. But it did give his administration deep insight into the Iranian position and what was happening.
And then there's the matter of the brother of President Jimmy Carter. People who are old enough will remember he had a brother, Billy, who had his own private business enterprises, which at times embarrassed the president. And one of them ended up having contact with crypto. You want to explain what happened here?
Yeah, so I mean, there are kind of echoes of this, I think, in our current situation in Washington, it seems like sometimes. But so President Carter had this kind of rogue brother, Billy, who basically started taking money from the Libyan government to pursue its interests as kind of in a lobbying in Washington secretly. Did not own up to this initially.
And this is when Muammar Gaddafi was running the place, right?
Correct. And so, I mean, one of the most embarrassing moments and one of the sort of trickiest moments that comes up in the crypto history is that the NSA learns from monitoring Libya's communications that they regard Billy Carter as a paid informant. And so the NSA director at the time, Bobby Ray Inman, has to call the Attorney General and say, I'm sorry to throw this in your lap, but we have some intelligence here that the president's brother is secretly taking cash from Muammar Gaddafi.
Oh, does that sound familiar? Is anybody out there? Do you think any of our politicians are taking cash from, I don't know, adversaries? Yeah, I mean, right? This is absurd. This is again, we live in the upside down. This is crazy stuff, and they have documents supporting this stuff now. And this is why they, when they did the FOIA stuff, they were like, oh well, you can't really have information. We're going to be able to have all these exemptions until 50 years down the road, so that the people involved are dead, right? That's the type of thing. So, but even then, we have the JFK stuff that they still haven't released, right? Still. Like, remember President Trump? Sorry to drop the T word. I know everybody's triggered. No, everybody relax. He said that he was going to release all the JFK shit. And then what's his name? Pompeo got involved and was like, no, we can't do that. Yeah, why? Why? Everybody's dead, bro. Like literally, we have like 90-year-olds maybe. But everybody's dead that was involved in that, right? Like, they had to be, unless you had like teenagers, like pulling the triggers and shit. No, come on, it's time to release that information. But of course you can't. You know why? Because it's embarrassing. Because they were involved somehow, whether they knew or they didn't know, or they didn't do something they could have done. Whatever it is, it's embarrassing as hell, right? That's the only reason. Why else would they not? If it was like a legit thing, one trigger boy, that's it. Tragic, stupid, senseless, release the documents. Of course it's not that simple. Otherwise they would, right? Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go all JFK on you, but yeah, you know what I mean? Let's see. Operation, hold on, Kelly, I got you. They call it Operation Rubicon, Rubicon, Rubicon. And it started as a Operation, what was it? Here we go. I'll find it. Operation, Thesaurus. Then it went to Rubicon, and then also codename Minerva, like the Greek goddess Minerva. So there it is. All right, so here we go. Let's play a few more clips here. Again, if you guys want to be on the show, if you have information about this or you want to talk about this, if you knew about this, again, type in the chat. There was a couple no's. I didn't see anybody that said yes, they knew about this. If you knew about this before I talked about it tonight, type in the chat. Tell me. I want to see a yes. I don't think I saw a single yes that anybody in here knew about what I'm talking about before I'm talking about it. And if that's the case, or if it's a very few of you, I think this is valuable shit, no? Like, this is the stuff that the media literally dodges. They dodge the shit out of this stuff. Because why? because it's embarrassing as hell, because it's not part of the Operation Mockingbird narrative, which the CIA is involved in. Okay? That's why. So, of course, you don't put out news that shits in your face, right? You don't piss into the wind. That's against the rules. You don't do that stuff. That's stupid. You'd be stupid to do that. And that's why nobody's heard of this, okay? But the crazy part is the information is out there, right? It's out there. Like the documents are there, and I'll dig them up, and you'll have links to all this stuff. You can read all of this shit. Again, not making it up. Never making any of this shit up, okay? Always have my sources. You'll see them. And they're public sources. I don't have any private sources. Don't take it that way. That's not what I mean. Everybody chill out. Nobody kicking my door right now. That's not what we're doing right now. But give me a call, 702-957-1037 if you want to talk about this. Join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Here we go. Next clip, action.
Wow. And what did that lead to?
Well, ultimately it leads to an investigation. I think that Billy Carter ultimately had to declare himself a foreign lobbyist and admit that he had misled the FBI, but he was not ultimately prosecuted for this.
So this company, Crypto, owned by these American and German intelligence services, were out there in a competitive private world where there are other companies that want to sell cryptology services. What did they do to secure and keep market share, to make sure that the countries they were targeting bought from them and not competitors?
So it turns out that having U.S. intelligence agencies in your back pocket gives you a pretty substantial leg up on the competition in some ways. So, I mean, the documents indicate that the CIA would give Crypto extensive amounts of cash to market its devices, to sell its machines in countries that otherwise would not be profitable, places where Crypto probably otherwise would not have bothered even trying to get an account. But the CIA wanted those countries, including many in Africa, to become kind of crypto customers, and so it would finance the sales of those machines to those governments. And then there are other ways. I mean, so the United States brings in Motorola to help Crypto make more advanced machines at times. The NSA is designing the algorithms that go into the latest devices that Crypto is selling in the 70s, 80s, and 1990s and into the 2000s. So, I mean, Crypto is leaning heavily at times on the technical know-how of U.S. spy agencies to make its products look better than the competitors, even though what they are really doing is making those products more vulnerable to U.S. monitoring.
Right. So if they're targeting a country they want to make sure they get into, they can offer a steep discount. Do they do other things like bribe local officials or run smear campaigns against competition?
Absolutely. So there was another Swiss company at the time, Gretag is what it was called, that was trying to become a rival to Crypto, and the CIA and U.S. intelligence helped sort of orchestrate smear campaigns around the world to spread disinformation that Gretag's devices couldn't be trusted. There were vulnerabilities in them.
Oh, hey, look at that. So not only were they bribing officials, they were actually launching smear campaigns against competitive devices, which would be like actually a legit device. Well, presumably legit, considering anything is made without a backdoor, without an easy backdoor. Right? So the CIA was actually conducting smear campaigns against their competitors, right? Again, this is private company stuff. Switzerland, of all places. Remember Switzerland? They're the one running this joint. Well, they're not directly involved, but they had to have known it was happening. This company was located in Switzerland, right? Everybody knows Switzerland is the neutral ground of the whole world. And the world's a funny place, isn't it? Like I said, we live in the upside down. Switzerland, well, this ends up being the headquarters of the spy operation that owned the entire Cold War on behalf of the United States and West Germany. So there we go. It's funny. Good night, Todd. Thanks for hanging up. Thanks for sticking with us. Appreciate it. Let's see. What else do we got? Fat Slims, what's up, says definition of Rubicon. This is good stuff. So this is Operation Rubicon. A bounding or limiting line, especially one that, when crossed, commits a person irrevocably. Holy shit, I can't say this. Irrevocably. Yeah, there we go. Definition of that word: not possible to revoke, unalterable, I can't do it. I can't do it. You know how sometimes you just get that word, you just can't do it? I can't do it. Anyway, there we go. Good stuff. Thanks for that. Let's see. Yeah, let's hope the men in black don't come knocking, dude. No, it's not that, right? This is public information. I do these shows and I get this shit off of the public, open, wide ass internet. And sometimes there's CIA documents, sometimes it's FBI documents, but this stuff, like sometimes it's FOIA documents from like Muckrock or from the Black Vault. Like this stuff is public. Like this stuff is out there, guys. And this is what I'm saying, right? Like think about what a failure our journalism is. What a failure our news sources are. What a failure. In so many cases, we're looking at this and expecting information from these knuckleheads. And this is the shit we get, right? Oh, make sure to wash your hands, wear your mask, shut up, don't go to the store unless you have to, right? Like, oh, don't buy more than you need. Toilet paper, you idiot, don't do that, right? This is what we get on the news. And they're still doing this shit, weeks, months later, the same damn shit. And look what's dropping in the news cycle. And they literally dropping in the public sphere, and they don't touch it. Failed. The media fails. The media always fails. Irrevocably. There we go. Thanks, Fat. Thanks. I can't, yeah. So, I can say that before I've had 4 beers, but this is my 4th beer. So you guys will forgive me. It's part of the deal, right? I drink a few beers and we have a good time. Yeah, I didn't mean it that way. Everybody relax. Okay, here we go. So the next one, we're going to play a few more of these clips and we'll keep on going. But this is the thing. This is what it's called. This is what we're talking about tonight. If you're just joining us, this is a crazy thing. This is Operation Rubicon, which started out as Operation Thesaurus. It's also named codename Minerva, and it's a secret operation by the German BND and the US CIA to purchase this Swiss crypto manufacturer named Crypto AG and to rig the cryptography machines and sell them to nations of the world with a backdoor, with an easily deciphered backdoor. So they're selling fake. I guess you could say fake, right? They'd have to be fake because they don't work. They're phony. They're selling. I wonder how much money they made. This company, this private company that was partnering with the CIA. Think about that. You have these companies, state sponsors with presumably huge budgets, buying this shit they think is solid for God knows how much money. And they don't work. This shit doesn't work. Everybody should demand a refund at this point. This is bullshit. Can you imagine? I'd be pissed. I would be unbelievably pissed. I'd probably be dead too, but because they'd know what the hell was going on. But okay, anyway, there we go. If you guys want to call 702-957-1037, play another clip here. We got some great comments we'll read in a sec, but what the hell, right? This is crazy. This is crazy stuff. Here we go. I think I played this one. Let's see. No. Yeah. Here we go. Part 4, action.
And what do you do with that? I mean, this is sort of an eternal dilemma for espionage. When you learn something, when you learn about something terrible that's happening, in South America, for instance, many of the governments that were using crypto machines were engaged in assassination campaigns. Thousands of people were being disappeared or killed. And I mean, they're using crypto machines, which suggests that the United States intelligence had a lot of insight into what was happening. And it's hard to look back at that history now and see a lot of evidence that the United States go into any real effort to stop it or even expose it.
Right, and if it emerges that the countries that are doing this awful stuff are using your encrypted, machines to communicate with each other and execute these missions, you're an accessory to it.
You're right, and so at one point, countries in South America banded together. The military dictatorships of South America banded together to create this kind of joint operation where they were trying to track down dissidents that they couldn't catch within their own borders, and they needed the cooperation of their neighbors. They used crypto machines to coordinate these activities. They were using crypto machines to track down and kill dissidents.
The company had a lot of employees who, many of them were involved in technical roles, and I can't begin to understand this stuff, but they're offering products to countries. Did they become aware at some point that they're selling products which seemed a little funny or seemed to have, aspects to them which would permit an outsider to access secrets?
Absolutely. So to me, this is one of the most fascinating aspects of the history, is that it provides really interesting insights into the lengths that these intelligence agencies had to go to keep employees at Crypto AG in the dark. And that wasn't always successful.
All right, so imagine you're working there, right? You think you're working at the foremost encryption joint in the world, and you're an employee, right? Line level, you're just doing what you're told, probably even up to like the toppest level, the tip top of management. And and what do you get? What do you get? You get a paycheck, right? You get the pride of working for the tip top, the best crypto organization in the world. Yeah, no, you're just a CIA asset is what you are, and you don't know it. And you don't know it, right? Does that ring a bell? Does that ring a bell to anybody? Anybody know any CIA assets that might be in the media right now? A couple good, really good comments here. What's up, Luke? Thanks for showing up, my man. It says, Mike, main media is controlled by the CIA anyway. Yeah, agreed. Except this is the thing, right? How many? Imagine this. Imagine if you took a poll and you put that across to like the entire country, and you were like, all right, does the CIA control the media? Do you think it would be yes or no? And do you think it would be a landslide? Yeah, I think you probably have you have people don't believe you. They're like, come on, that's so far out there. And you're like, look, John Brennan's on CNN. Like, are you insane? Like Clapper is on CNN. Like, really? Are you shitting me? Like in the old days, that used to not be okay, right? Because it would look too obvious. The CIA controls the media. And now those fools are on these damn stations, You're like, come on, get out of here, people. But yeah, great comment. You're completely right. This is a good one, too. Michael says, what's the CIA's return policy on a rigged encryption device? Yeah, that's a good question. And Fat Slim says that you got to decrypt a return policy. Yeah, there you go. Good shit, guys. Good night, Eric. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it, my man. Yeah, so I think that's the thing. A couple more clips here. We're going to keep on rolling. If you guys have comments on this, you know what to do. This is absurd. This is insane. This is a news story that didn't. It hit the wires and nobody touched it because guess why? Because the CIA tells them what to do and what not to do. Right? They know their handlers. Right? Nobody. You don't piss in the wind. You don't bite the hand that feeds. The rest of this. Right? So even a lot of these news agencies have shitty ratings. But still they persist. Right? They're making money somehow. Makes you wonder if they're state sponsored or not, At least, that's my opinion. Who knows? Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Here we go. Let's play the next clip on this. If you guys want to call, talk about this, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. Go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. You can find the phone number there and the Discord link, and you don't have to try and decipher my super fast code talk. You can just go to the website and find the phone number. Good night, Eric. Thanks again, man. All right, here we go. We're going to play the rest of this, and we'll just keep on moving. But yeah, what the hell do you think, right? Like, what the hell do you think? What's going on here? Here's the next part, and we may get through all this. Here we go. Action.
There's a fascinating account of a moment in the late 1970s when a highly capable mathematician, a woman named Manjia Kaflish, applies for a job at Crypto. She has a background in radio astronomy and super technical things. She's incredibly smart, way overqualified for the job she's applying for. And the Crypto executives are like, oh my God, we're going to hire this woman. She's perfect. And the CIA and NSA back in Washington are responding, what are you guys doing? You cannot bring this woman into this company. She's too smart. She's going to figure this out. The documents literally say that. And sure enough, she gets there and she starts poking around and pulling these devices apart and immediately sees inexplicable flaws in the algorithms, inexplicable problems in the security of these machines, and starts asking questions. And the responses are always very unsatisfying to her. She's never told the truth. She's always proposing, she and others propose fixes, right? But they're never allowed to execute those fixes. We can make this box better. We can make this product better. And the executives are always saying, yeah, we think you probably can, but we're not going to do that at this time. We're going to leave it. We're going to leave it as it is.
Wow.
And yes, they become very suspicious over time. And in fact, Mangia Kaflish, who I met with in Switzerland, told me that this was one of the reasons she ultimately left the company. She felt so uncomfortable about her role in what to her increasingly appeared to be a dishonest endeavor.
So she was so smart. She came in, she started taking the shit apart, was like, wait a minute here. There's something up, guys. This is broken. And they're like, nah, it's not broken. They're like, hey, let's go get some lunch. Can you imagine? Like, this is what's going on, right? Like, you have to take an entire group of employees, like I said, all the way on up to upper management there, and like just they're part of the ruse, right? Part of the CIA, what would you call it? The PSYOP, right? The disinformation operation, whatever's going on. Like they were CIA assets unknowingly, and it makes you wonder, right? Again, like who is now? So if a CEO somewhere, let's say it rhymes with Muckerberg, it has a connection or a deal in place with a particular state intelligence agency. How many of his employees do you think know about it right now? Oh, wait. Again, we're assuming here. I'm just making shit up. I don't really know anything, but assuming that's the case, how many of the employees that work at, let's call it Cakebook, know exactly what's going on, right? Of course. The answer would be very, very few, right? Like maybe 2 tops. Like it would be like that. So, yeah, as long as the money comes, right, people don't really complain. People don't really argue. It's no problem, right? There's no problem here. Yeah, exactly. This is yeah. Anyway, oh, there we go. Got a few more clips here, and again, this is here. I'm gonna just burn through some of these articles real fast because there's tons of information here. So it's not just the clips I'm playing here, guys. Here's Hackaday writing about this. Like, there's a ton of people that covered this stuff, and again, right? Like, if you don't follow these particular things, you don't actually you don't know. Like again, it doesn't get reported, right? And this is the thing with the media. It's not what they tell you; it's what they don't tell you. That's the biggest like slap in the face is the stuff they don't tell you. They're hiding it. So here we go. So this is the machine from the M209 to the PDP-11, and so they actually have like the hardware involved in this site. The handshake with the NSA, how they built the back doors, the buyouts. They got, and apparently Ronald Reagan actually leaked some stuff that kind of gave away what they had back in the 80s. When he was president there. So about Libya and some other stuff. So it's all in here. Like, oh, again, like this is what you call real journalism, guys. This is what you call real journalism. This is by Hackaday, hackaday.com, and it's by Jonathan Bennett. Okay, and this is March 2nd, 2020. Like, that's how recent this is. So this is not something that was like, we're not talking 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and it fell off. This was literally middle of the damn pandemic. They're saying shelter in place, only go out for essentials, start to wear the mask or not wear the mask, or wear the mask or don't wear the mask. No, yeah, wear the mask. No, don't wear the mask. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, okay, wear the mask. Okay, make your own mask. How about, yeah, make your own mask is what they were saying right around this time. They were kicking the football back and forth. And this guy, like these people that reported this shit, and we're doing God's work, in my opinion, right? Here we go. This is NSA Archive. Check this out. This is more about the CIA's Minerva secret. Gonna link this. You guys can check this out. Just check these links out, guys. Like, all the information is here. There's links to the actual documents themselves. This is from cryptoground.com. If you follow these circles, you know this stuff, right? At least you've seen it. Maybe you didn't read all about it or any of this stuff, but it's there. Again, this is all public. This is all public at this point. So there's no like insider anonymous source bullshit or any of that. We're not doing any of this Fox News business or this CNN. We're not doing that stuff. We're not doing David Wilcock or Corey Goode. Like a little blue bird told me. We're not doing that shit. We didn't do that. Here's where it is right here. Schneider.com. Crypto AG was owned by the CIA. Here we go. Look, link after link after link, guys. This shit's been reported. Even Forbes reported this, right? And this is the thing. This is why they do this stuff, right? So Forbes, of course, is probably, I would say compromised, right? They've got a cybersecurity section. Davey Winder here, senior contributor, right? So they write about this stuff, right? It just doesn't ever get featured. So it just gets buried. So if you want to find it, or if you want to call them out, like let's say we call out the media on this. Let's say this blows up 5 years from now. It just blows the F up, okay? And then you go, hey, where were you, the media? They can all be like, oh, well, look, we reported on it. You know, it's here. It's timestamped, February 12th, 2020. But no, I mean, they did. It just got buried in the back page, right? So they certainly did, but, you know, is that technically reporting? Yeah. Anyway, here we go. Smashing a few more of these, and you guys can check it out. And, yeah, you guys can see it all. It's all here. It is all here. Here's all the damn links. ARS Technica. For decades, U.S. and Germany owned Swiss crypto company used by 120 countries. Here we go. Links. You guys can check it all out. Read it all. All this stuff, and again, you don't have to like snap it out of chat and like, or see what I did there, Snapchat. No, like grab it out of chat and you know, like make a catalog here. All this stuff will be in the on YouTube in the comments, or sorry, not comments, the description box. So all this stuff will be linked, so you don't feel like you got to like catch up and read all this shit right this second. But it'll all be there. So if you want to go read this stuff, it's unbelievable. This story is like dense as hell and not reported whatsoever. So there's that. Okay, there we go. What else do we got? Here we go. All right, we got a couple more that we'll get to in just a sec, but let's finish this story up. The actual story from NPR and the Washington Times reporter, not the Washington Post, the Washington Times that was actually talking about this. Here we go. A few more parts here, and then we'll finish this up and we'll be done for the night. So here we go. Action.
There's an incident that occurs in 1992 when this company, crypto's been operating for a while. One of their salesmen, Hans Bueller, is arrested in Iran. Tell us about this.
Hans Bueller was one of the company's best salesmen. He has this big account. Iran is a huge customer. Iran, at times, is suspicious of these devices. It's obviously, by that point, engaged in a long-standing kind of adversarial relationship with the United States and the West. And so they arrest Bueller and detain him for 9 months and interrogate him. He's put in solitary confinement. They're asking him questions about we think there's something wrong with these devices you're selling us. You need to tell us the truth. And Bueller doesn't know. He is not witting to the reality of this operation. He's a salesman who's being sent off to these places to sell what he thinks are secure, real encryption machines, and doesn't know that this is all a front for the CIA and German intelligence. So he can't answer their questions. And this is, circles back to this really critical ethical dilemma at the core of this, right? So you're sending people into harm's way without giving them enough information to make choices for themselves about whether they are willing to do that. And this is a terrifying account. He's ultimately released after the Germans pay $1 million ransom for him through the company. He comes back. He's badly shaken by what's happened to him. He's suspicious that the Iranians know more about the company he works for than he does, and he becomes a real problem for crypto. He starts talking to Swiss television stations and others, telling them about his ordeal in Iran, what the Iranians were asking him, and his own growing suspicions about what crypto is doing. And so this leads to a huge vulnerability for crypto and a multi-year effort to kind of contain it by the CIA.
Okay, so this guy named Hans Bueller, yeah, we're not making that up. That's right, Timothy. Hans Bueller, that's the guy's name. He's a salesman for Crypto AG, okay? And he thinks he's selling perfectly, reasonably working cryptography machines, okay? So they work, right? He's told they work. They've been selling these things. They're like the top dealer in the entire damn world. And he goes to Iran, right? Iran. He ends up being detained as a spy because they're like, what the hell's going on with these machines, right? Because again, like I said, eventually when everything you do, they know what you're doing as you're doing it. Like you'd have to get suspicious, right? At some point you'd have to be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? It's shocking. It took the world 80 years to get 70 years to catch up. However the hell long it's been. It's an absurd amount of time, right? But yeah, so this guy Hans Bueller gets detained in Iran, and so as a spy and he's rattled. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. And finally, he gets released, and he goes back and starts doing media appearances. And he literally has no idea he's a CIA front. This entire operation is a CIA front, right? And this is the thing. So eventually, the world is catching on, right? Eventually, slowly, they have their suspicions. Okay, well, of course, as time moves on, technology starts to change, and so these old ways of doing things, these old like mechanical encryption machines, the computers start kind of popping up in the late 70s, early 80s, right? So like things are changing. However, these fools are still doing it. They're still doing it. They're like, again, they closed this program down in 2018. So you tell me, something wrong here, right? Something definitely wrong. Let's see, everything good? Everything good? We're all square, we're all up to date. Read the comments in a sec. Let's finish this up. If you guys want to call, 702-957-1037. What are your thoughts on this? Again, I want to know if you've heard about this. I want to know if this is you're hearing this for the first time. If you are you shocked? Are you dumbfounded that the world was in ownage, like literal intelligence ownage for the better part of 60 or 70 years, depending on how you want to do the math there? I mean, yeah, this is crazy, right? This is, again, if you make up a movie and do a movie like this, it's unbelievable. You're like, no, come on, nobody's that stupid. Well, apparently 120 countries were. So here we go. A few more parts here, and then we'll finish this up. Here we go. Action.
And it troubled the Germans more than the Americans, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, so things are really turning politically for the Germans during this period. The Cold War is over, so one of the reasons for engaging in this operation seems to have disappeared. The Berlin Wall has come down. There's a reunification of Germany. Germany is trying to deepen its ties with other countries in Europe, some of whom are customers of Crypto AG, and Germany is increasingly worried that if the word about this gets out, there's going to be hell to pay for us. We are going to bear the brunt of any fallout, political or economic fallout for this operation. Ultimately, they decide around 1993, we want out. We've had enough. We're willing to hand it over to you guys. And so the CIA essentially buys out the German intelligence and keeps going for another 20 years.
Did German intelligence officials ever regret losing this remarkable tool?
I think they regret it even to this day. I think the Germans and BND officials see this as one of the most brilliant operations they were ever a part of. It gave them a reason to be close partners with the CIA and NSA, which were the world's most powerful spy agencies. So when that went away, a lot of things ended for the German intelligence officials that they didn't want to see end. This was a decision forced on them by political forces in Germany, and I think that the German spies rue that even now.
Yeah, right. If you had the all the answers all the time, and you're like, nope, this feels dirty. No thanks. You guys can have it. So they took their payout. They left. And so the CIA ran it for the next 20 years, right? This is the 80s. Remember, and not only that, they closed this down. This program officially closed down in 2018. 1952 is when it had the twinkle in Daddy's eye. 2018, guys. 1952, 2018. What the hell is going on here? Like, that's an unbelievable amount of time for espionage ownage that the rest of the world, I don't know, like... again, like I said, it's beyond words. It's blown away, says Kelly. Agreed. It's beyond words. It's beyond words. It's crazy. This is insane. This is insane to me. And yeah, well, I mean, if you're on the good end of it, it's good stuff, right? But if you're on the bad end of it, yeah, let's finish it. Next part.
So how did things develop after the departure of the Germans in the mid-90s? The Americans stayed with it until very recent years. Did it remain an active intelligence gathering operation?
Totally, yeah. So it just keeps going. The CIA keeps pouring money into this thing, keeps selling devices. They keep introducing, coming out with new products, and they, it's interesting to me because it tells you a lot about the mindset of U.S. intelligence. Even as technology changes, and this company seems to be struggling and is losing money, there is no part of the U.S. intelligence apparatus that wants to pull back. They're like, keep going. We should milk this thing for all of its worth until we can't find any other reason to keep it going any farther. And so they carry it forward until 2018. Ultimately, it's a combination of forces, including just new developments in technology that crypto can no longer really keep up with, that force the United States' hand to finally get out of this.
You know, this operation gave them access to, intelligence from all over the world. You know, not from sources on the ground, but from these devices. I mean, electronic communications that they could intercept. Do you think that there's any connection between that and the kind of global surveillance that has been exposed in recent years by Edward Snowden and others?
I think there's two real connections here, and I'm glad you asked this question, because I think these are the areas of most profound relevance to us now. To me, the history of the crypto operation helps to explain how U.S. spy agencies became accustomed to, if not addicted to, global surveillance. This program went on for more than 50 years, monitoring the communications of more than 100 countries.
Oops, 50. I muted myself. 50 years. More than 100 countries. Again, 1952 to 2018 is way more than 50 years, guys. 52 plus 48 is 2000, plus 18 is what? Not 50. Follow that math. So you get what I'm saying, right? 48 plus 18 is what? 62? That's a long damn time. That's a long damn time to own the intelligence apparatus of the entire damn world, right? And think about it. They did it through a private company in Switzerland. Oh, Switzerland. Switzerland, right? Famed for their neutrality. Oh, Switzerland. Yeah, there we go. Unbelievable how this thing rolled out. So one more clip here. We're going to finish this up. We played the entire thing, so if you want to go back and listen to it in its entirety, and it's without me blabbering in between, I do recommend that because I do blabber. But the point is to kind of like make the connection between then and now. So we'll do that in a sec. So we're going to look at some of the other things, some of the other accusations after this. So we got one more point. What's up, Adon? I see you there. Excuse me. He says the second Bible has come. I got you 100%. We should help each other. Yep, we should help each other. Agreed. Let's see. Yeah. What's up, guys? Share the show. Share the show. If you guys like this shit, look, this is the thing, right? Now, for some bizarre reason, I'm some random asshole on the internet, okay? No, I'm not an asshole, okay? But you see what I'm saying. I'm just some random joker. I'm some random dude, okay? My name is Mike, right? Like, how much more generic do you get than that? My name is Mike, all right? But look, doesn't it seem like I'm playing the role of, like, investigative reporter here? Like, trying to get the word out on some shit that should have been out? Like, what's going on here? Like, this is, like, it's unbelievable to me that there's information that comes out like this and nobody touches it. 10-foot pole status, right? They're like, wash your hands, wear the mask. Don't wear the mask. Wear the mask. Don't wear the mask, right? No, that's not what we're doing here. It is what we're doing, but for crying out loud, we can continue other news. And this, of course, is embarrassing. This kicks mud in the mouth of the CIA, of the United States government, of the NSA, right? Of West Germany, who is now Germany, Chancellor Merkel, or whatever the hell her name is, right? Like this is a black eye, right? In the five eyes of intelligence, right? So right, because they share this information. It's not just two, there's five, right? I'll pull that up and we'll look at that in a sec. But you see what I'm saying here? Like, what is going on? Like, I'm some knucklehead, and I'm like, look at this shit, guys. I feel like I've got a scoop here. And I don't, clearly. Somebody else did. But they ignored the shit out of it. Like, what is going on? This is absurd. This is insane, and this is the world we live in. And when I say we live in the upside down, I'm not shitting you. We live in the upside down. Let's finish this up and then continue talking about the rest of this and how it, not just how this finishes, because it finishes how it finishes, right? Like 2018 it ends, right? That's just a couple years ago. That's not that long ago. But again, like I said, it always spins into something else, doesn't it? Right? They had other things in the works They don't just stop this and then, oh, well, dust their hands, put on a new set of clothes, and, we're straight now. we're not selling crooked machines. No. No. How does it make you feel about voting on those machines, guys? Those machines? Those voting machines? Everybody feel pretty good about that? After what we know about what we know, and the people that fund the... Anyway, I'm not going to get started, but okay, here we go. Let's play this last clip, and then we'll get into some of the implications of what this might mean today. And action.
I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I should caveat that and say I've never seen definitive proof of anything like this, right? I mean, these documents erase any ambiguity about that. And so, yeah, I mean, this is not just a front company to enable somebody to travel overseas and to try to recruit a spy inside Moscow or someplace else. This is a profit-making enterprise that goes on year after year, actually making equipment, actually selling it to a global sales force with a customer base and revenue and profits that are coming in. But I will say that there are other modern parallels here, right? I mean, it's not hard to see the connection between this crypto operation and the very profound concerns that U.S. officials have now about other global companies and their potential ties to governments. I'm thinking of the telecommunications giant Huawei in China, or Kaspersky, which is a very successful antivirus and security software company in Russia. These are, I don't really have much doubt that we'll look back at the moment that we're living through now and learn about crypto-like operations, whether by U.S. spy agencies or other spy agencies.
Now, you hear what the man just said. He's talking about spy agencies. He's talking about crypto. He's talking about Kaspersky. Everybody know that internet virus protection, or whatever the hell it's called, right? The first caller we had tonight talked about TikTok, right? I added that face app, whatever the hell it was, right? It was a Russian spyware. Like, this is where we. Oh God! So you got to ask yourself. In the end, what do they have to gain from all this, and why is our data so critically important, right? So you tell me, right? This is so somebody mentioned earlier Bill Gates and depopulation. Is this part of the reason, or is it part of the reason that we're literally heading toward 1984, where if we don't know exactly who our adversaries are at every moment, at every metadata point, we're vulnerable to them, right? Meaning that I've switched that, I reversed that. So the government, the major corporations, right? They think that if they don't know who they're dealing with, they're at a disadvantage. And they're right. Because you never know where the, I don't want to say it, you never know where the resistance will come from. Where the most stiff resistance, okay? You got to watch what you say. You can't, if you say a particular word, right, things turn, okay? Like you get put on, you get taken off to like the cursory list, and you get put on the holy shit list, right? The terrorist list. So you got to be careful what you say. It's not like that, okay? And I'm going to say this again. I'm never for violence, okay? I think we can do this. We can make things better without any of that, okay? Apparently the CIA and governments of the world, and this government, of course, and everybody else, they don't see it that way. And so we have a difference of opinion here, okay? That's all we have. No terrorism, okay? Just thoughts and ideas. And those things shouldn't be that scary, okay? So now, that individual in that interview, brilliant man, spent a ton of time looking at this. Again, I linked it. I'll link it again, and you guys can check it out. Here we go. I'm going to find it. NPR. Here it is. One more time. I'm going to link it again so you guys can check it out if you can listen. And listen to it in its entirety. I only clipped out like a minute because he was shitting on like the Israel bit for a minute. He was going a little bit political, so I just cut that part out. So I played like 35 of 37 minutes there. So not that I'm protecting Israel, I just didn't think it was necessary to the narrative here. So everybody relax, chill out, everybody chill. Okay, so now the thing is, here we go. let's go to what he finished with, right? So Huawei, right? We talked about FaceApp. We talked about TikTok, right? What about Huawei? What do you guys know about Huawei? Have you heard of this company? It's Huawei. You remember we had this dust up where they had the Huawei executive. It was like the CEO or the CFO or something like that arrested in Canada. You remember that? You guys remember that? For espionage? Remember that? And then China freaked out and they blamed us. They blamed the United States. They're like, oh, because Canada's embedded with the United States, and they arrested our CFO or whoever it was for espionage. Remember that? Huawei. Not only that, recently, and I've talked about this, not a lot, I should talk about this more, but the brand Huawei, think about it this way, right? Now, these machines were from a private company. We're talking about, what were they called again? I can't remember the name. It's called, from Project Rubicon, right? Operation Rubicon. It's, hold on, I got it. Again, do a live show, you'll see. 3 hours later, you forget everything. But okay, so this is Crypto AG, was a private company, okay? Crypto AG, all right? Private company based in Switzerland once they set it up with the CIA, all right? So fair enough. We got that. Okay, that was the name of it. But now imagine we have the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and we have Huawei, right? Here we go. This is reported by Wired.com. And yeah. Yeah. There you go. You're on it. You're Pat Satanis. I see you there on Mixer. You're on me. You're on it. You already know what's going on here. You're 2 steps ahead of me. Huawei. Wired.com. The U.S. fears Huawei because it knows how tempting backdoors are, right? And this is exactly talking about what we just talked about. U.S. officials allege that Huawei has backdoors in its technology. The U.S. knows firsthand how powerful those can be. And it goes through that account we just went through, blah, blah, so on and so forth. I linked it. You can read it yourself. All right. Now, this is what's happening. So think about it this way. We have the world actually rolling out 5G. All right. Now, 5G is what? They call it the Internet of Things, right? That's a term that's been used. And it's less for people because what? Do you think we need faster internet? Do you think we really need, like, we can live stream 4K video now, right? In like the hottest metropolitan centers in the country, in the world, we can live stream 4K video right now. So explain to me exactly what 5G and downloading gigabit internet on a mobile device might be able to do. Explain. Think about it. So it's not really like Clyde Lewis of Ground Zero says, my hero. Dude's fantastic. If you don't listen to him, you should. Probably more than you listen to me. He's fantastic. Okay, he says that it's made for machines. It's not made for people. And I agree. Because think about it this way. What is 5G made for? Right? Everything runs perfectly in the household. There's no hiccups. The smart households, right? Like I said, your refrigerator knows when you're out of milk and orders it for you, right? This is the type of shit we're heading towards. And once 5G is ubiquitous, this is what we're looking at. And so think about that as like a metadata point, right? Once again, like we're talking about, we have location data, we have the tracking for the COVID, right? We have the contact tracing, we have the right on and on and on, right? Not just in addition to like the Google Maps and the Apple Maps and the this and the that and the other, like all this shit, metadata on top of metadata on top of metadata. And now not only are they going to be knowing where we go and when we do and when we buy, they're going to know, like our refrigerator will be telling you how much beer we drink, okay? Or how much milk we drink, or how much bread we eat, too much carbs for you, how much this, how much that. You eat, Mike, you drink too much beer, you barbecue too much tri-tip. And I probably do. But it's none of their fucking business, right? It's none of their fucking business. Pardon my French, but holy shit, people. Like, this is what's going on here. And so the surveillance state gets another layer, gets another layer, gets another layer. And at this point, 5G in the United Kingdom is being implemented by Huawei. Am I wrong, Penny? Am I wrong? Okay. Now, if you can put backdoor technology in a mechanical machine in 1952, tell me the CCP is not putting backdoors in their 5G equipment that they're installing worldwide. Tell me that's not the case. All right? And you say, oh, Mike, it's just data. It's just data. If you're not doing anything wrong, you got nothing to worry about. This is the Chinese Communist Party that has this data, guys. Come on now. Come on. Just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah. Okay, here we go. There's more. So here we go. This is for Huawei responded when they heard about this. So let me link this. You guys can check this out. So Huawei said about this particular backdoor fiasco with the CIA. Huawei replied on CIA-controlled crypto AG report, right? Yeah, okay, sweet. They said, here we go. Let's read this thing as an entirety because it's short. The CIA controls crypto AG company and used to monitor global communications equipment. The media revealed that Huawei has not announced any cooperation with crypto AG and other companies under CIA control. All right. Huawei officially replied and said, following reports by The Guardian and Washington Post about the eavesdropping carried out by the CIA-controlled crypto AG on global communications equipment, Huawei PSIRT has conducted a thorough investigation of all partnerships with suppliers and can confirm that Huawei has no business dealings with Crypto AG, Saiwan Security AG, or Crypto International. Well, thank God for that, right? They said, hey, we don't do that. Let us in. Knock, 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 knock. Let us in. We don't do any of that shit, right? You think the CIA ever admitted to doing any of that? Come on. Yeah, right? You have your own crypto AG. Huawei? Come on. All right, here we go. Here's another one. We got a couple more. Now this gets deeper. Like I said in the beginning, right? Actually, I said this last show, though, just 2 shows ago. I said, if you can build it, you can hack it. Okay? It's as simple as that. Even if, like imagine you don't build an intentional backdoor, some hacker will find one. Okay? Like there's no such thing as perfect code. All right? Now, if I'm wrong on that, I'm a novice coder. I know a little bit about code and security. That's it. Okay? That's it. Novice. But I do know it doesn't matter because you know how I know this? Because they spend billions of dollars a year. I say they. Who is they? I get asked that every time I'm talking and I talk to somebody and it's okay. Everybody says to me, who's they? Okay, the technocracy spends billions of dollars in equipment and security personnel, professionals, and they still get their asses hacked, right? Equifax, Facebook, Google, you name it. Every mofo in the game has been hacked, and if they haven't announced it or they haven't been yet. That's all it is. If you can build it, you can hack it, guys. Okay, now check this out. This is from Crypto Potato, and I thought this was triple fantastic. And this is really what this all comes down to. This entire conversation comes down to this. Okay, Crypto Potato says, the CIA secretly owned Crypto AG, which we talked about for an hour and a half now. But did they secretly create Bitcoin? This is written by Wesley Mesamore on February 16th, 2020. This year. And this is his opinion, Wesley's opinion. It was the intelligence coup of the century. That's the assessment of the CIA in a classified report obtained earlier this month by an investigation of the Washington Post. Sorry, excuse me. And the Central Intelligence Agency had built back doors into the encryption methods so it could easily decode messages and spy on foreign governments' most sensitive communications. We talked about this. The article continues. Governments the world over trusted Crypto AG to encrypt communications for their military, diplomats, and spies. Among Crypto AG's clientele were Iran, military dictatorships in Latin America, India, Pakistan, and the Vatican. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? From 1970 forward, most of the world's governments were unwittingly handing the CIA their money and also their secrets, right? Which we knew. They were paying them to give them their intelligence. How insulting is that, right? The article continues. These revelations about this stunning and audacious CIA signals intelligence operation beg the question: did the CIA create cryptocurrency? We still don't know who invented Bitcoin. Its creator has remained anonymous to this day. The inventor of Bitcoin published the Bitcoin white paper under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto, and they posted to the Bitcoin Talk forum under that moniker. Could Satoshi Nakamoto be the CIA? It continues. There's no conclusive evidence of who Satoshi Nakamoto is. That remains a mystery to this day as far as the public is concerned. The following evidence that Satoshi Nakamoto might be CIA is circumstantial. CIA is circumstantial, and the conclusion is speculative, but it's not. If it's not compelling, this evidence is certainly captivating. And the crypto AG revelations show just how plausible it is that the CIA could have created Bitcoin as part of the monetary coup of the century. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to let you guys read this and go down this rabbit hole. Who is this individual? Who is this shadowy figure? This anonymous person that created Bitcoin and crypto and everything involved in this. Okay? This continues. There's links here. Check this out. CryptoPotato.com. Now you tell me. Right? We've established, we saw this recently when we were talking about actually Bitcoin and not particularly Bitcoin, but how when they tried to do the bailouts in this country, in the United States, the COVID bailouts, you guys remember this? Some people got some checks, some people didn't, right? A whole bunch of shenanigans. Some companies got put out of business. Some companies got rich on these bailouts, right? Like, again, right? Like the government choosing winners, always a bad thing. But here, there's more, right? So who sent this money? We know the government sent it, obviously. But remember, they were trying to make a digital currency, the digital dollar in that Maxine Waters bill. We talked about this, right? Proof, documents, go back. I have it. I've got it all, right? I've got these narratives on lock because I read the shit out of this stuff. I'm telling you. Now, they're saying that for a long time, they've been trying to create a digital dollar. Okay, and now some people might go, oh, it's convenient. But what it is it's not, it's literally a grotesque blow to privacy, because it means that every dollar you spend, every penny you spend digitally, they know exactly what you're spending it on. Okay? So now, blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Is it possible that whoever this pseudonym, Satoshi Nakamoto, is some sort of CIA asset? Or partner, even. Let's say he's just a partner. We've seen that before now, haven't we? Yeah. There's your rabbit hole. I wasn't going to go down the Satoshi Nakamoto rabbit hole tonight, but just because there's so much here. But holy shit, right? Like I said in the beginning, my opinion has always been about Bitcoin. It seems suspicious. Okay? Every time they build something as unhackable, you know they're full of shit. Because, of course, that means they're waiting till enough capital gets pounded into it so it can just magically disappear. Vaporware. There you go. That's where we go. What's up, Slims on YouTube says Orwellian New World Order and digital currency equals control, power, and tracing. Exactly. Every penny you spend, they know what you're spending it on. They know where you're spending it. They know what you're spending it on. They know everything about you. It is literally the checkmate. Once you get a digital, think about it. With all the contact tracing, right? We're talking about private investigation, right? And digital surveillance to figure out where the fuck you've been, okay? And not just where you've been on a second-by-second basis and how close you've been to somebody else. Think about that. How kosher is that? How okay is that? How is that not being smacked down by the ACLU and the like the folks that are supposed to be out there like smacking this shit down? Why are they not raging? Why is the world not raging about this? Explain to me. I don't get it. It scares the shit out of me because I know where this heads. You know where it heads? China has this thing called a social credit score. That's where it heads. Which means you get what you deserve based on what they believe. Which means autonomy's out the window. Which means you're no longer allowed to be an individual, and it's coming here. There we go. Ramble, rant, so on and so forth. Call me a scaremonger. I call myself a realist. This is coming, guys. And if we don't pay attention, it's going to sneak up on us, tap us on the shoulder, punch us in the face. And that's going to be that. It'll be a wrap. So if we can't do it, if we can't talk about it, if we can't be on the game here and take us to the next step and rage when they do whatever they do, well, I don't know. We're at the end. We have a few minutes for you guys if you want to call. If you have takes on this, if you think I'm nuts, that's fine. I've had people call me nuts. I was on Reddit the other night, and I had some guy call me a fucking idiot, and I went nuts, and I called him a fucking idiot back, and we got into a Reddit dust up. I deleted it all because I felt like an idiot, but like you don't have a conversation, and like the first thing you say to somebody is you're a fucking idiot, right? Yeah. So there we go. Be nice to people on social media is my thing. Unless they call you a fucking idiot, then tell them they're one back. There we go. So, well, maybe don't. I don't know. Don't take my advice at this point. But yeah, creepy, right? What's up, Martin? Martin from Sweden. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here, buddy. But yeah, you guys tell me. We got a couple more minutes for you. 702-957-1037 at the end of this. TroubledMinds.org. Click the link. What do you think? You think this is worth talking about? Do you think why is the media not touched this? Why is this literally in our boat? Like we're literally like we're I don't know, like probably total reach is a few thousand people, right? We got like 3,000 to 5,000 people reach in this show, right? Which is good. It's good. I'm not complaining about that. But how on God's green earth are we the ones talking about this? Are we the ones actually concerned about this? I'm concerned talking about it. You're concerned here talking about it with me. We're concerned about this stuff. But how the hell is the rest of the world not? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Are we really that far in the bag with the CIA? And they're like, hey, you give me 100 million Joe Rogan money, I'll go CIA shill. But maybe I won't. I guess we'll see. But you see what I'm saying though? Like how the hell do we have a population that's not even getting paid to be shills, and they're acting like they're shills? They're acting like they're complicit in this organization, in this whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. I get frustrated. And that's where I'm at right now. But anyway, here we go. So we talk about aliens. We talk about conspiracy. We talk about paranormal. We had both feet firmly in the conspiracy tonight. And again, if you want the sources, go to YouTube. Check it out, guys. Check it out. A couple more minutes. 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org. Click the thing. Discord. Thanks, Nikki. Important stuff. Great show, Mike. Thank you, Nikki. That's very nice. Thank you. Thanks for all the folks for hanging out. Thanks to all of you. I know, again, right, like retention value on 3 hours is ridiculous. Most people have an attention span of like 12 seconds. So if and I know I'm not the most eloquent, I'm not the most linear, perfect storytelling guy. However, 3 hours later, you guys are still here. So again, for those of you that are still here, like I said it last time, I'm going to say it again this time. You guys are my favorite. You hang out for all the ramblings. You guys are my favorite. Let's see. Okay. So let's finish this. Let's be done. I'm gonna play the outro music, but if anybody wants to call, well, I'll kill it and we'll start over. We'll do right again. This is our show. Nobody tells us what to do. Nobody tells us what to say. Nobody tells us how long to go, and God forbid nobody tells us what to think. Okay, that's it. No sponsors. Only beholden to you and ourselves. That's it. And so we don't have commercials, but we do have outro music. So, bam, just like that. All right, well, you know what to do. Share it, guys. If you think this stuff is important, right? Like sometimes we talk about goofy shit. Sometimes we talk about critically important shit. Hopefully, all the time, it's entertaining and worth listening to. That's the goal. But come on. Share the love. Let somebody know. Tell them, hey, stop watching TV. Get in here and call Mike. Tell him what you think. Let's talk about these things. Because if we don't, who is? Appreciate it, guys. You're all the best. Thanks for being here. Again, if you're still here, type best in the chat. Type favorite in the chat. Whatever it is. You guys are the best. You're my favorite. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to put up with me for 3 fucking hours. I tell you what. We do Tuesdays and Fridays. Fat Slims, Tuesdays and Fridays, 8 p.m. Pacific, and we usually go about 3-ish hours. So you get the point. If you're really into it, go back and check out some of the archives. We got some really interesting things we've talked about that sometimes don't get a lot of traction. So there's archives, man. Check out the YouTube. Go to troubledminds.org. There's the YouTube link there. Click on listen now, top right. Take you there. Do all the things. Like all the things. Share all the things. Leave reviews, guys. Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is. These things go up to a podcast, and yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm honored you guys listened for so long. I feel like I'm a rambling nut, but well. Oh yeah, there we go. We got a best. We got a fave. Appreciate it, guys. There we go. I appreciate it, guys. You guys are all the best. One more time, you're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. We'll be back Fridays. We're back Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific. Let somebody know. You tell one person, they tell one person. That's how we blow this up. That's how we talk about this. That's how we get to where we need to be. Because if something needs to happen and we need to rage against the machine, we have each other. And if you reach out one hand at a time, and that person reaches out another hand one at a time, it grows that way. So there we go. I'm your host, Michael Strange. Thanks for hanging out. I'm honored. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening to the rant, Larry. You're welcome for the rant. And at the end of this, like I said, I'm your host, Michael Strange, and you're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Thanks for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. See you on Friday.